Chapter 102, Well, well, well. As they were flying, Zephyr looked at Rifle. You fold so easily. Rifle rubbed his hands together. But Dad, she's so aggressive, I can't help it. Zephyr held his face and sighed. Vegeta on the other side frowned at Bulla. You like that brat. Bulla was shocked. W what? No, H him, ha ha ha, F fat chance, as her entire body turned pink. Vegeta's eyes twitched and he clenched his fists. A few days later, they got back to Earth and had a banquet. Launch cooked with Kai Kai and everyone was dumbfounded. This is the best food I've ever had in my life. Zephyr ate himself into a ball. Oh my god, Launch, I fell in love with you again. Blue Launch giggled, hugging his fat body. I'm so happy. Goku looked at Kai Kai. It's even better than before. Kai Kai snorted with pride. I've been training too. Goku hugged her while laughing. That's great. As he carried her home, disappearing. Zephyr exploded with steam and slimmed down to normal, hugging Launch happily while eating. However, when nobody was paying attention, Vegeta slipped away, dragging Rifle with him. They landed on Kami's lookout and Vegeta dragged Rifle into the hyperbolic time chamber. He threw Rifle out and said, From today on, you are MY student. Rifle was stunned. Huh, but my D. Vegeta glared. Your dad said it was okay. Rifle was dumbfounded. Huh, really? Vegeta nodded and said, Now attack me at full power. Rifle hesitated. Are you sure? Vegeta rolled his eyes and curled his fingers. Rifle clenched his fists. Here I come, Uncle Vegeta. Vegeta corrected, Teacher. Rifle nodded and exploded into blue-violet flames. A vortex of flames burst from him and engulfed Rifle as he screamed. When they dissipated, Rifle stood there with flames coming from his eyes, thicker than normal. His hair was a burning flame, while his wrists and ankles were covered with the very same flames. All around him, black lightning crackled erratically. Vegeta was stunned as Rifle appeared in front of him, punching with all his strength. Vegeta went flying as a massive eruption of flames occurred. Rifle shot out of the flames and roared, slamming his fists down as a pillar of flames erupted. Vegeta looked at his burning clothes and turned on Super Saiyan 2. Not bad. Rifle attacked him quickly, but Vegeta was prepared this time, blocking his punches, nailing Rifle in the gut, shooting him across the space. Vegeta walked towards him. What is this called? Rifle got up and spat out a flaming tooth while another one grew. Fire God mode, Vegeta nodded. Good, come on. As they continued attacking, the flames getting more and more hot as Vegeta asked flatly, Another one. The flames went out as everything got dry. Vegeta smacked his lips, looking at Rifle standing there. He was emitting a little bit of black smoke. This is my overheating state. The heat is like the core temperature of the sun. He stomped on Vegeta's stomach, burning away everything as Vegeta stepped back, grabbing his ankle. I see. Before chopping at his neck, knocking him out, you have a long way to go. A couple weeks later. Zephyr and Vegeta were fighting. Bastard, you took my daughter as your student? Zephyr laughed. You took my son first, what the hell? Vegeta trembled. Imbecile. Bulla and Rifle sat on the side. Geez, what's the difference? Bulla touched Rifle's hand before blushing. Oh, sorry. Rifle blushed. Bulma clapped her hands. How wonderful, Tilda. Launch sipped on a drink, leaning on a table. That's two now. I guess my brats like your brats more. Bulma made a peace sign as Kai Kai's lips twitched. HMPH. Launch looked at the duo. Speaking of which, are you two pregnant again? They all froze and looked at Launch. You too. Launch's lips twitched. You guys sure know how to fuck like rabbits. Bulma rolled her eyes. Says you. Launch frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Kai Kai waved. Please, isn't that all you two do? Launch slapped the table. You dumbass bitch, I will kill you. We cuddle and watch movies too. As she pulled out a strange gun, Kai Kai snorted. Okay, Piggy Tilda. Launch twitched in anger, looking ready to explode. Goku jumped in. My turn. They all started fighting intensely before a ship appeared out of nowhere. They paused and looked over. Huh. Trunks flew over and said, Huh, there's another me in there. Bulma ran over. What? A few minutes later. Future Trunks was laying on a lawn chair as Bulma fed him a senzu bean. He woke up and attacked Goku. Bastard. Goku was stunned. Trunks, what happened? Future Trunks paused and held his face. It was terrible. He explained that everyone was wiped out. even after they resurrected everyone with the Dragon Balls and saved the Earth. They didn't even get Majin Buu or Omega Shenron or anything. And the culprit was Goku, more specifically Goku Black. Zephyr crossed his arms. Well, well, well. Vegeta looked at him in confusion as Zephyr chuckled at the meme he just remembered from decades ago. Wise tilted his head. You messed with time? That's illegal. Bulma quibbled. Me in the future, not me now. Beerus said honestly. I have no idea what's going on. Zephyr looked at him before rolling his eyes. Beerus had a tick mark on his head instantly. Chapter 103. Future Trunks Disappointed. Turns out Bulma was making the fuel for the time machine as we speak. She said she could only do it in a day. Trunks was dumbfounded. It took 10 years for half a tank. But he's too strong. I trained for 10 years and still couldn't beat him. Goku grinned. Come spar with me, Trunks. They walked out and Trunks shouted, turning Super Saiyan 4. Goku was stunned. You got to Super Saiyan 4? Trunks nodded and attacked with his sword as Goku transformed the same. They had a brief fight before Goku knocked him down to normal form with a flash of Super Saiyan God. Trunks was stunned. Whoa, what the hell was that? Goku grinned. He tilde Super Saiyan God. Trunks was confused. God. Zephyr sipped on a coffee. After SS4 is SSG then SSB. Vegeta muttered. What are these abbreviations? Zephyr shrugged. I don't want to inflate the word count. Vegeta rolled his eyes as Trunks got up. But even with this power, you'll be nothing but cannon fodder for Goku Black. Goku was speechless. He's that strong? Hey Beerus, Wise, why don't you come along with us? Beerus shouted. I already told you it's a crime, but you're doing it anyway. Zephyr mumbled. We've done it so many times before, nobody came to arrest us. Beerus' lips twitched. That being said, I don't know what that god of destruction from that timeline is doing letting this lunatic go. Wise smiled. Not different from you. Maybe he's sleeping. Beerus shouted angrily. That's different. That lunatic is running around destroying everything on a whim with no thoughts for the balance of the universe. That's nothing like me. The wisdom, the dignity, the grace, the history. Wise just laughed. Future Trunks muttered, God of Destruction? Who's that? Beerus and Wise were stunned before Wise asked, Hey, Trunks, you said that you defeated Dabura and his men and the Supreme Kai helped you, did he not? Future Trunks nodded. Yeah, Wise asked. What happened after that? Trunks muttered, Well, in the process of defeating Dabura, it cost them their lives as well. Beerus shouted, What? The Supreme Kai died? Wise was stunned as Beerus grit his teeth. That bastard, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong even though he's so weak. Once a moron, always a moron. Goku looked at him. What are you getting worked up for, Beerus? You like the Supreme Kai? That's surprising, I thought you hated everyone. Wise chuckled. Actually, the Supreme Kai and Gods of Destruction are a set. If the Supreme Kai dies, the God of Destruction dies as well. Their fates are bound together. He glanced at Zephyr and Vegeta coincidentally without them noticing. Zephyr drank his coffee. So if I go kill the Kais right now? Beerus pointed at him. Don't get any funny ideas. Zephyr asked. Hey, Wise, if I beat up the Supreme Kai, will Beerus feel it? Wise laughed. No. Zephyr clicked his tongue as Beerus jumped up and down. Fight me head on, sneaky bastard. Zephyr looked away. HMPH tilde. Wise looked at Goku and the others. The short of it is, in future Trunks' timeline, the God of Destruction no longer exists. Everyone was dumbfounded as Zephyr asked, You don't have replacements for that kind of thing? Beerus snorted. Stop joking, who is better than this lord? As he turned his gaze up 45 degrees. They went inside as future Trunks told the story. Zephyr looked confused and said, Old Kai didn't come out of the sword after it broke. Future Trunks was stunned. What? Goku explained and Trunks shook his head. No, Vegeta said. It was probably that Dabura's stone powers. They all nodded and Beerus muttered. So that bastard Goku Black traveled through the timelines and found one without me, I see. Zephyr leaned back and rested his ankle on his knee. Hey, Kat-sama. If this guy traveled through timelines, then shouldn't he have been arrested by the time cops? Beerus frowned. He probably killed them too, or he was in that timeline originally. Zephyr scratched his head in confusion. Wise frowned. No, he must be able to travel to timelines if he arrived right after you were killed. Zephyr looked at Vegeta. It's a murder mystery. Vegeta's eyes lit up. Oh, I like those. Zephyr looked excited. Me too. If we can find out who this Goku Black is, then we can tear him limb from limb. Y's lips twitched. Beerus made sure with future Trunks that there wasn't a god of destruction there, and Goku introduced Y's and Beerus to future Trunks. Trunks saw Mai Pilaf and Shu and was stunned. You're Mai, right? Mai blushed, WW it. Before holding her cheeks, oh. Actually, Emperor Pilaf and his friends managed to return themselves to youth mysteriously after Omega Shenron was booked. Now they were the same age as Trunks, Goten, and Bullets. But this Mai didn't have any intersection with this Trunks because he and Bullets were already dating. So, having gotten some attention, Mai was very happy. Zephyr sighed. Plan produces Saiyan Kai was a bust. He felt his skin crawl and he looked around, startled. Wise looked at the void and spoke soundlessly. The person was stunned before laughing angrily. Okay. Wise clapped. Excellent. Night rolled around. Chapter 104. Excursion to the 10th Universe. Zephyr stood outside, holding his chin, kicking out in the air, frowning. That's not it. He continued practicing as Wise appeared. Midnight training? Zephyr sighed. I can't do what I did to Hit. Wise nodded and said, Of course not, you were hyper-focused on victory at that time. Though, it should be said, you are making excellent progress. At this point, you might develop God Kai on your own. Zephyr clenched his fists, but it's not enough. Goku and Vegeta will just keep getting stronger and stronger. I can barely keep up with them using only these petty tricks. He kicked a rock, shooting it out of the atmosphere. Damn it. Wise floated next to him. Thinking about it now. After hearing about future Trunks' timeline, Lord Beerus is a bit fearful. Zephyr sighed and sat down. Does it matter? Me, Vegeta, Goku, we're all here. Nobody can kill the Supreme Kai, even if they wanted to. They would have to get through us first. Wise smiled a bit warmly. That's true, but a knife in the dark is hard to defend against. That's why I have a proposition for you. It turns out there are 3 of you, so it works out. Zephyr looked up at him as Wise looked out. I have the intention of training Goku to be an angel. As for Vegeta, he is more suited to destruction. For you, with your little abilities, you are more than suited to be a Supreme Kai. Zephyr was stunned. What? But don't I have to be a Kai? Wise shook his head. Not necessarily. Kais are suitable for the position because of their endlessly long lifespan and natural God Kai, but if there's a more suitable being, it's not impossible to change. It just so happens that in this universe most Kai are very weak. I'm sure that it can be arranged with the current Supreme Kai in training. Wise chuckled, tilting his head. At any rate, he might even be relieved. How long has it been since you surpassed him? Most Kai aren't suitable for battle, so I am giving you the choice. He turned to Zephyr. Tie yourself to Vegeta's fate and train to become the Supreme Kai of Universe 7 or don't. Of course, I won't back out of my promise, but I can guarantee you that it will not be the same at all. Zephyr frowned, but Shin and Kibito, Wise smiled and shook his head. The King Kais can be replaced, or you can even keep them around and train the Kais yourself. However, Shin's life will no longer be tethered to Beerus when the transition is complete, however long that'll take. Zephyr paused. I need to think about it. Wise nodded and disappeared. Zephyr sat outside and thought about a lot of things. He got up and walked away, rubbing his neck. Geez. He bumped into Future Trunks, smiling. Hey, kid, how's it going? Future Trunks sighed. All right, I guess. Zephyr slapped his shoulder. Don't worry about it. He looked at Trunks' sword before thinking about it. He grabbed the air and 3 swords appeared in his hands. Do you like using 1 or 2 swords? Future Trunks was stunned before answering. 1. Zephyr nodded, and he took his sword. Zephyr held Future Trunks' swords, stabbing the others into it. Enma. Shiusui. Wado Ikamanji. Ace. Shadai Kaitsu. Aim no Habakiri. Yaru. Yoriich's Demon Slayer sword. Whitebeard's Murakumajiri. Scissor Blades. Excalibur. Murasame. Lost Vein. Dragon Slayer. Kurikara. Demon Dweller Swords. Ragnarok. Kusanagi. Double-Edged Tsurugi. Dragon Blade Narust. Night Sword. Sword of the Thunder God. Chakra Blade. Z-Sword. Haramkari. Kiba, Kabutori, Kubikirabacho, Nuabari, Samehada, Shiboki, Muramasa, Sun Sword, Moon Sword. Future Trunks was speechless as he watched sword after sword melt into his own. His jaw hung as Zephyr then pushed a dozen different metals blocks into the sword before tapping it with a token. He tossed it to Future Trunks, "There you go," before walking away with his heads behind his head, thinking to himself. Future Trunks caught the sword and it dragged him down into the ground. Noticeably, it cut the floor and ground like butter. Future Trunks pulled hard and barely lifted it up. He was panting and put the sword back in his sheath before being stunned as the sheath was cut through. Ah, Zephyr, help. The next day, Zephyr was sitting on the roof, looking at the sky in thought. Goku returned from Zeno's place with Wise and Shin. Zephyr looked down and looked at Shin, who looked up at him. Shin rubbed his neck and laughed with a sweat drop rolling down his face. Zephyr's lips twitched and Shin was informed about what was going on. Shin was dumbfounded. "What? Really?" They nodded and he frowned. "Oh boy, so I get killed?" Bulma ran over with Kibito and old Kai. Kibito said worriedly, "Lord, there's urgent news. Zamasu from the 10th universe visited Zuno and asked about the Super Dragon Balls. That's not all. He also asked a lot about Goku. It appears he also asked if it was possible for a normal person and a god to exchange bodies." Everyone was shocked and Zephyr jumped down. "So, it's Zamasu?" Beerus clenched his fist. "Bastard, I'll have his damn head." Vegeta sighed. "Mystery solved then?" Zephyr looked at him. "Why are you disappointed?" Bulma looked around, but hold on. That's only for our world here. Goku Black and Trunks' world is a completely different being. Future Trunks nodded, with a new sheath on his back. "That's right, Goku is dead in my time." Beerus snorted. "That shouldn't matter. He can just use the time rings." Goku was stunned. "What the hell is a time ring?" Shin nodded. "A Supreme Kai would be able to use that." Wise looked at Future Trunks and asked, "Was this the color of his Patera earrings?" As he made a small ball. Future Trunks nodded. "Yeah, that's it, but he only had one." Wise frowned. "Then the 10th Universe Supreme Kai is in trouble." Beerus looked at Shin. "You, go get the time rings and investigate this Zamasu's future." Shin nodded and disappeared as Wise looked at Zephyr. "Want to come along?" Zephyr was stunned and Beerus grabbed him, touching Wise. "Go, hurry." Wise nodded and disappeared. Goku and Vegeta looked at each other before jumping in Future Trunks' time machine, disappearing with Future Trunks himself. A while later, Wise, Zephyr, and Beerus arrived at the 10th Universe Kai's house. Chapter 105, Tusk, this guy isn't even a painter. Wise knocked. "Hello, Gowasu." Gowasu, the Supreme Kai here, smiled. "It's been a while since I've been called by that name. Haha, what can I do for you?" As he looked at Zephyr, adding, "A god of destruction candidate." Wise smiled and shook his head, asking, "Where is your disciple? We've come to meet him." Gowasu blinked. "Zamasu? Well, he's not here at the moment. He left. Come in, come in." They followed him inside as Gowasu added, "This is the first time he left without letting me know. To be honest, I'm rather worried." Beerus looked at Wise before saying, "Until he returns, we will wait here." Gowasu blinked. "Oh, sure. Would you like some tea?" Zephyr walked around and held his hips. "Nice place you got here, old man." Gowasu's lips twitched. Wise pulled him down and said, "Get Gowasu some ramen." Zephyr waved his hand as 4 bowls of ramen appeared. Zephyr put the spicy sauce on the table before eating happily. Gowasu was stunned. "Wow, so delicious. Is this a delicacy of your universe? I must say I'm quite jealous." A bit later, Zephyr was leaning back, looking at the sky when Zamasu appeared. "Apologies, Master Gowasu. I left without a word. My successor Kai called me away." Zephyr leaned back on the table, holding his cheek with his palm, lying already. Gowasu was stunned. "Huh." Beerus got up and walked over. "Where the hell were you just now?" Zamasu rubbed his head. "Well, like I said, there was some trouble in the Northern Universe. I went to provide some aid." Beerus snorted. "You went to Zuno's place, correct?" Zamasu was stunned. "Wah," Beerus grinned. "You went to the sage Zuno of Universe 7's place, right? You cheeky bastard." Zamasu paused and hung his head, as expected of the god of destruction. "You've seen through everything." Beerus frowned. Why are you so interested in Goku and the Super Dragon Balls? Zephyr looked at Wise, so forceful if I was innocent I would give him a slap. Wise covered his mouth and chuckled, then you'd be erased. Zephyr sneered, it's worth it. Beerus pressed, what was your intent behind asking if a human and God can exchange bodies? Zamasu muttered, that was merely to see if it was possible. Gowasu was upset, Zamasu, what is the meaning of this? Explain yourself now. Zephyr shrugged, clearly it's what we know, right? Why don't we just kill him? Beerus looked back, because if there's a discrepancy during the timelines, then we'll just ruin everything. Zephyr rolled his eyes, I say kill him. He doesn't look like a good person anyway. All the Kais I know have light purple skin, this guy is lime. You ever see a good person with lime skin? Beerus muttered, now that you mention it. Wise rolled his eyes, please. Gowasu coughed, yes, please. My disciple wouldn't do such irrational things. Suddenly, Shin appeared. He smiled at Gowasu, thank you for the other day, Universe 10's Supreme Kai. Beerus crossed his arms, you're late. Shin apologized, sorry, I had to cross space and time over and over again. It ended up taking far longer than I expected. Zephyr looked at Wise, whispering, if you go forward in time, then come back, wouldn't no time pass at all. Wise leaned over, not true. The time you go forward and back is constant. So if you go 100 years and stay for 5 years, you'll come back and 5 years will have passed. Zephyr was confused, but if you go back 1,005 years, Wise looked at him, you can only go forward and back the same time with the time ring. Zephyr sighed and crossed his arms, that's stupid. Gowasu was shocked, the time ring? What did you go see? Shin looked at Zamasu, I went to see your future, Zamasu. Zamasu was dumbfounded, Gowasu was stunned, his future. Shin nodded, all of the countless evil deeds he's about to commit. Gowasu didn't believe it, impossible. My disciple is not evil, I've trained him myself. He might be a little rash at times and perhaps a tad bit confused, but evil? Impossible. Zamasu looked at Gowasu in disbelief. Teacher, Shin looked at Beerus, it's exactly as we feared, Lord Beerus. Zephyr sighed and patted Wise's shoulder. It's so sad. I feel bad watching him defend his bastard disciple. Wise brushed his hand off before Zephyr put it back. Beerus looked at Zamasu. In light of this, I have probable cause to destroy you, though it's not like gods of destruction need a reason in the first place. Gowasu waved his arms. Lord Beerus, please, my disciple would never do such a thing. Right, Zamasu? Tell him the truth. Zamasu closed his eyes, turning his head. Sorry, master. Gowasu was stunned and horrified as Zamasu grinned evilly. Evil deeds. I prefer you call them what they are. Just and righteous acts. It's the humans that rule these worlds that are in the wrong. These humans will inevitably start war with themselves over and over until they bleed their planets dry. These worlds have no need for parasites like humans. The existence of humanity is the true evil. Zephyr yawned and smacked his lips. So you're a hippie? Zamasu glared at him. Silence human, otherwise I will silence you myself. Zephyr rolled his eyes. Okay, bro. Go hug a tree and shut the fuck up. Zamasu held out a Kai knife and growled, filthy human. Zephyr pointed at himself as Zamasu charged at him. Zephyr yawned and pressed out his palm. I hate self-righteous guys like you the most. Just say you like killing people. Nothing wrong with that. Zamasu blasted in the air. Huh. Zephyr looked at his watch. Anyways, I have to get back to ruining my planet, and you, my dear friend, are out of time. As he grinned, blasting out a massive beam of white flaming energy, turning Zamasu to ashes. Beerus had his arms crossed. Was that a catchphrase? So lame? Zephyr blushed and shouted. Nah, it was cool. Don't get jealous because you don't have one. Beerus butted heads with him. I can come up with one. Zephyr laughed angrily. Oh, really? I want to hear it. Lord God Berus, please grace me with your divine wisdom. He spread his hands and laughed, bowing deeply. Please, Lord Tilder, I beseech thee. Beerus shook and clenched his fists angrily. Why, just you wait. I'll come up with something so badass, it'll blow your damn minuscule mortal mind. Zephyr rolled his eyes. I bet. Chapter 106, Training Getting Abused with Cronoa. He liked it. He looked over and curled his fingers. Orange patera earrings flew over. Zephyr looked at them for a moment before tossing them to Gowasu with a troubled frown. Shin looked at Gowasu and said, After I return to Earth, I will return to explain everything. Gowasu sighed as Beerus shouted, Next time you choose a lunatic, I will destroy you myself. Shin waved. Beerus, we need to go back and inform Goku and Vegeta of something important. They looked at him, and all three grabbed him as Shin teleported back to Earth. Beerus said, explain yourself, Shin. Zephyr walked in silence as Wise leaned over. Have you thought about it? Zephyr frowned and didn't answer. Shin looked at Beerus. Goku Black no Zamasu wasn't acting alone. Beerus was stunned. You mind repeating that? Wise looked over. You mean he had an accomplice? Shin frowned. Yes, to make matters worse, his partner is someone very formidable. Zephyr looked up. It's Zamasu himself, right? Shin looked over and nodded. Yes. Beerus and Wise were stunned. Zephyr crossed his arms, looking at the sky. The Goku Black can't be Zamasu from that world since he died and you never met him, meaning that there wouldn't have ever been a match between 6 and 7. So Goku Black was the future Zamasu from this timeline after he swapped with Goku. When he got to the other universe without you, he found himself and they started to work together. I wouldn't even be surprised if he got 2 wishes. So Zamasu squared. Beerus looked at him, dumbfounded. I didn't know you were so smart. Zephyr's lips twitched. I have my moments, Shin added. There's another thing to worry about. The Saiyan's trait to increase power when recovering from near death. You know, Supreme Kai have the ability to heal. That means that they're a near unstoppable duo. In fact, that may have been his goal in traveling across parallel worlds. As they were discussing, the time machine came back. But only a battered Goku and Vegeta came back. Zephyr looked at them and said, To Zamasu. They were stunned. How did you? Zephyr looked at Shin, who frowned. Really bad. Really, really bad. I gotta go. As he teleported away. Zephyr crossed his arms and looked at Wise. Can I really become a lot stronger with the Supreme Time Kai? Wise looked at him, nodding as he sipped the coffee. Of course, but have you agreed? Zephyr frowned and finally said, I agree. Wise smiled, excellent, before tapping his staff. Zephyr looked at Goku and Vegeta. I'll try and help, good luck, before he disappeared entirely. He landed on a floating complex in the void of the universe. Zephyr looked at the little Kai in front of him as she smirked angrily. You have a lot of thoughts about the Supreme Time Kai for a mortal. Zephyr started sweating and said quickly, I was just joking, right? Ha ha ha. Cronoa sneered, We'll see, I'm going to train you for one day. Zephyr was stunned. That's not nearly enough time. Cronoa stomped and nearly shattered the entire complex. I don't care. If you can't surprise me, I will erase you. Zephyr swallowed. Yes, ma'am. Cronoa snorted. Follow me? He walked behind her like a good little boy. She turned and snorted at him. HMPH. Zephyr was speechless. Didn't I just try to get you a boyfriend? Why are you so mad? Cronoa paused and burst with Kai. Idiot, I don't need a boyfriend. Zephyr swallowed and nodded. Of course, Lord Supreme Time Kai is amazing. Cronoa snorted angrily, walking in a massive building. Zephyr followed her inside and she turned around as the door closed. The gravity in here is 1000x time what you're used to. Also, it's 100x stronger than that failed piece of trash that you've used before. Zephyr was confused. What? Cronoa groaned. You're so stupid, I hate you. Zephyr made a Pikachu face as she punched him flying. Enough. The training begins. We won't be fighting much. You'll be learning Supreme Kai stuff. All that bullshit and magic garbage that they use, hopefully you can finish in 50 years. Zephyr swallowed and sat on his legs, listening as the immense gravity made his bones creak. Cronoa snorted and nodded. Also, I'll be beating you up when I feel like it. Zephyr hung his head. Yes, ma'am. Cronoa snorted. That's what you get for thinking so many dirty thoughts the minute you saw me. Zephyr was shocked. How did you know? Cronoa kicked him. Wrong answer. 50 years later. Zephyr let out a breath as he meditated. Cronoa yawned. That's enough. Now you know the basics. You finished a few years before I expected, barely enough. Zephyr wilted and Cronoa nodded. Now, show me that transformation of yours. Zephyr's lips twitched. I haven't fought for 50 years. Cronoa rolled her eyes and Zephyr sighed before turning on his supernova state. Cronoa looked at side. How primitive. Not even an iota of God Kai. And you want to be a Supreme Time Kai? Are you joking or is Wise joking? Zephyr scratched his head. He felt 1000 times weaker than before. He was actually seriously worried. Cronoa looked at him blankly. Don't be worried. This 50-year period was to calm you down and train you in some basic Kai powers. You have to remember that as a Supreme Kai, you are in charge of creation, not destruction. Of course, that has nothing to do with your personal power. At any rate, in these 50 years, you will learn God Kai and change up that awful transformation. Yuck. She spat on the ground and added, if you surprise me, maybe I'll make you my disciple. Zephyr's lips twitched and Cronoa blushed with anger. What do you mean, no thanks? Take this. She kicked out and sent Zephyr flying. Get back up so I can beat you senseless. Ah. Zephyr kicked out and Cronoa tilted before kicking him flying. It's useless. Your time abilities are really trash. Well, I'll beat your potential out of you, should be quick, maybe 40 years should do. But in only 30 years. Zephyr exploded with Kai as it turned into white bubbles around him. Cronoa paused and looked at her watch. Not too bad. Zephyr clenched his fists and smiled. Awesome. Cronoa kicked him in the face. All right. Now to fix that transformation of yours. Zephyr wanted to cry as he was sent flying. 20 years later. Cronoa looked at Zephyr. HMPH, I guess you're not so bad after all. Zephyr wilted. Do you have to be so annoying, master? Cronoa scoffed. What? You have an opinion? Zephyr sighed. No, ma'am, before perking up. But, if I wasn't married maybe I would fall in love with you, Master Tilda. Cronoa's lips twitched. Who wouldn't? I'm simply a stellar anomaly. Okay, stop fucking around. Go change. I made you some clothes in my own style. Only a day passed since you got here. While you didn't turn into a super god, you should be able to beat up your past self. Zephyr clenched his fists. I feel stronger. Cronoa rolled her eyes. You're barely twice as strong as you were when you got here. In terms of strength, you're only more optimized. The 50 years of weakening made you so incredibly weak that a baby could have killed you, but now you're back to the level you were at before with 50 years of training and a new transformation, I'd say if not twice then just a little under. Zephyr sighed. I was expecting a more direct method. Cronoa rolled her eyes. I gave you 100 years, you know. Zephyr rolled his eyes and walked away. Okay, whatever you say, little master. Cronoa shook her little fist at him as he went to change. A few minutes later. Zephyr walked out with an ugly face. What the hell is this? Cronoa clapped her hands. You look great. Zephyr had white patera earrings and gold bracelets on his wrists and biceps. His clothes were a folded-over Kai uniform with a skin-tight black undershirt that was sleeveless and up to his neck, even covering half of it. The black undershirt was almost the exact same as Cronoa, but larger. The folded-over black Kai uniform was open at the buttons, folding over a white sash, tied on the side with the classic baggy Kai pants that tightened on his calves, going into white Kai boots. Zephyr didn't like it at all. I look like a fruit. Cronoa puffed her cheeks. You look good, trust me, I'm a woman. Zephyr's face was ugly as he retorted. It looks good on you. I'm a man, this isn't manly at all. He looked at the gold bracelet and watch, groaning. Cronoa rolled her eyes, waving her finger. You'll wear it and shut up. Zephyr pouted. All right, master. Cronoa smiled and nodded. Now get out of here, as she snapped her fingers. Chapter 107. Two Immortals Fighting. Zephyr disappeared and landed back on Earth. He hid and modified the uniform slightly. The folded-over part was shortened, the sash was lengthened, the pants were less puffy and tucked into the boots that were rounded with black tips. He changed the gold bracelets and fused one with his watch, modifying his patara earrings before letting out a breath of relief, running his hand through his hair. Okay, much better. He popped over and hovered in the sky before flashing. Damn, am I late? Bulma looked at him. Oh, what happened to you? Zephyr rubbed his head and sighed. I spent 100 years getting abused. Launch looked over and wiped her drool. Hehehe, Tilda, come home quickly. Bulma pointed at the time machine. Go, quick. Zephyr winked at Launch before teleporting inside the time machine. Hey. Goku and Vegeta looked at him. What the hell? Zephyr rubbed his head. Haha, so what happened was. The time machine disappeared. It reappeared in a ruined city as they jumped out. So you were training for 100 years? Damn it. Zephyr spread his hands and sighed. I didn't actually. 50 years of weakening, 50 years of training back from nothing. It's more optimized now, like, how do I explain it, no wasted movements. Vegeta punched at Zephyr, who turned to Goku. Do you know where Zamasu is? While dodging Vegeta's punch. Vegeta clicked his tongue. I haven't been sitting around doing nothing either. Goku waved. We have to settle Goku Black and Zamasu right now, you guys. Zephyr and Vegeta nodded as the three flew away. They teleported in the air, appearing above Zamasu and Goku Black, who held future Trunks. Goku Black dropped Trunks and sneered, "What took you guys so long?" Zamasu looked at Zephyr and frowned. "Who are you? A human in a Kai uniform." Zephyr turned and looked at him flatly. "Boo." Zamasu's eyes widened and he blasted off the ground, smashing through several dozen buildings, landing in rubble. Zephyr turned back and said, "Give Gowasu a senzu bean." Goku nodded. "Right," as he fed Gowasu and Trunks, picking them up. Mai ran over. "Trunks." Zephyr looked at her and sighed, pointing at Mai's head. "Don't move." Mai started sweating. "Oh shit." Zephyr rolled his eyes. "Please, I'm not going to kill you." A beam pierced into Mai's heart and she froze. "Ugh!" before a powerful heartbeat sounded. Her hands frosted over before she exploded into an ice sculpture. The ice shattered and Zephyr snapped his fingers, giving her new clothes as she looked brand new. He muttered, "These Kai powers sure are convenient. They also work suspiciously well with the system." Mai looked at herself in shock. "Huh," Zephyr explained. "I gave you ice powers. Now you're not helplessly hiding behind Trunks every day. The more you practice, the stronger you can become. Hopefully one day you can protect HIM. Get it?" Mai burst into tears and jumped up, hugging Zephyr. "Thank you, Waya Tilda." Zephyr shook her off him. "Don't ruin my clothes, damn it." Goku laughed and shook his head. "All right, you too, all right." Gowasu and Trunks nodded as Gowasu got up, looking at Zephyr, who was pushing away Mai's crying face. "He's not a Kai. That's the same young man that visited me a few days ago." Goku was stunned. "You know Zephyr?" Gowasu nodded and sighed. "He killed my evil disciple." Goku nodded and patted his shoulder. "Don't worry, Universe 10 Supreme Kai. You'll find a new one. Zephyr is training with the Supreme Time Kai." Gowasu was terrified. That devil. Zephyr appeared next to him. "You really understand me, old man. She's really a devil. I was beaten senseless for 100 years. He even shed a tear as Gowasu sighed, patting his shoulder. There, poor thing." Shin scratched his head. "Well, what are you going to do now? Become the Supreme Kai?" Zephyr rubbed his nose. Maybe in 1,000,000 years or something, right? Vegeta has to train with Beerus." Shin let out a breath. "Phew." Zephyr rolled his eyes. "I don't want your job. If I didn't have to take it, who would want it?" Shin froze and twitched. "Well." Zamasu flew back. "Impossible. A human becoming a Supreme Kai? You aren't even a Kai. Unbelievable. I don't agree." Goku stomped on Zamasu, sending him flying as he grinned. "Dibs." Zephyr was dumbfounded. "No, wait, asshole," as he flew after Goku angrily. The others were stunned. Gowasu looked at Shin. "I've never seen a Supreme Kai who wants to fight all the time." Shin laughed awkwardly. "Our 7th universe is very special, Supreme Kai of the 10th. Gowasu smiled cheerily. "Well, that's nice. By the way, would you like to be my disciple?" Shin's lips twitched. Goku tried to seal Zamasu with the Mafuba, but he brought the wrong talisman and Zamasu escaped. Goku sighed, "Aw man," before going SSG and beating Zamasu senseless. Zephyr touched down next to Goku and Vegeta as they watched Zamasu and Goku Black argue with each other before fusing into Zamasu Black. But Zephyr preferred to call him Zamasu. Zephyr said, "Damn you, Zamasu." Vegeta looked at him. "Zamasu still?" Zephyr looked serious. "I will not inflate the word count." Vegeta clicked his tongue angrily. Zamasu sneered as he held out his hands like Gojo. "Rejoice, mortals, for it is an honor to behold this form. The one true god of all universes, Zamasu, is finally born." Zephyr dusted his palms. "My turn?" as he flickered, standing in the same place. Zamasu threw up blood. "What?" before taking out a box and putting on a time ring. Zephyr frowned. "A time ring?" Zamasu sneered. "You just attacked my past, didn't you? By 5 minutes behind, before I fused." He showed the time ring box, but with the time ring, I'm unaffected by time-based attacks. Zephyr flashed and held the time ring box. "Oh, Tilda," Zamasu was stunned and Zephyr rolled his eyes. "Idiot. Do you think I'm like you? I trained hard to get where I am. I can move fast enough affect time. I don't use props." He took out the other 5 time rings in the box, but these are useful. He crushed the box as Zamasu snorted. "You have no chance anymore. I am a supreme being." Zephyr took out a fusion token, melting the time rings into his left golden bracelet. A white infinity symbol appeared on the underside of the bracelet as Zephyr waved his arms. All right, cool. Vegeta and Goku shouted from the side, hurry up and start fighting, we're waiting here. Zephyr rolled his eyes at them. I'm gonna start, you can't interfere. They both nodded helplessly, eating senzu beans mixed with eternal youth pills. They just ate them like jelly beans. Zephyr rolled his eyes and looked at Zamasu, rubbing his shoulder. All right, come on. After I beat the shit out of you, I'm going to visit my master in this timeline. I heard she was a big beauty here. He was slammed into the ground before getting up like nothing happened. Zamasu frowned. Master. Zephyr took a stance, handing his hand positions and leaving two knuckles out, smirking. Chapter 108, Zamasu gets a Zenkai boost too. Zamasu appeared in front of him, kicking out. Zephyr dodged and fired his fist out, nailing Zamasu in the neck. Zamasu coughed and glared at him, roaring as he went into Super Saiyan Rose. You'll never what? Zephyr transformed as a pillar of fire exploded from him. It was swept away as he reappeared with white hair and white eyebrows, blue eyes, but the problem was, he slimmed down like Super Saiyan God and looked much younger, around 16 years old. A white goopy kai exploded off him as white lightning crackled every now and then. Zephyr smirked at Zamasu. Come on, you picked the wrong body in the first place. Zamasu trembled in anger, rushing out, slashing with his pink energy sword. Zephyr already dodged, shooting his fist out as Zamasu's neck snapped, sending him flying out. Zephyr took a step and appeared in front of Zamasu instantly. His fists twitched and Zamasu exploded, recombining as he charged out, screaming as he punched Zephyr in the stomach, going right through him. Zephyr appeared behind him, punching out as half of Zamasu's body exploded. Zephyr chuckled, you rely too much on regeneration, Tilda. As he jumped up before Zamasu swiped his hand, Zephyr grinned. Hehe, Tilda, he crouched on Zamasu's head, holding his cheeks with his palms. Is that it? Goku is stronger than you. Goku and Vegeta watched as Zephyr flickered around Zamasu like he was dancing. Goku squinted. He got a lot stronger. Vegeta was grim. This bastard, he spent 100 years training. I can't believe this. Goku looked carefully. Vegeta, look at his movements, he's predicting the future all the time. Vegeta snorted with crossed arms. It doesn't work against us, this idiot can't use all the power of your body. It's not his after all, he probably doesn't even know how to use the haki at all. Look, Kakarot. That bastard is constantly using all 3 types of haki in this state. His entire body is covered in armament and conquerors. Goku nodded and held his chin. The problem is he didn't lie. Vegeta looked at him as Goku continued. I didn't try Zephyr yet, but the power behind his punches are not as strong as they should be if he was really training for 100 years. But his movements are way more refined than before. Vegeta clicked his tongue. He's not leaking Kai either. When he attacks, his knuckles are filled with God Kai and project out into that idiot. Goku rubbed his chin. I think that's what he did to hit. Through the defense, internal destruction. Vegeta rolled his eyes. Of course, Kakarot, you are such an idiot sometimes. Goku chuckled and rubbed his head. But this style, it feels a bit like Wise. Vegeta frowned. No, this is different. Goku looked at him. Vegeta added, Wise is reacting instinctively. This bastard is reading the future. He has to move his body still, look at his feet. Goku looked and raised his brows. Hey, you're right. Vegeta shook his head, but it won't work against us. Goku nodded and smiled. I think he has his own tricks for us. Vegeta narrowed his eyes and sneered. I, for one, don't believe this bastard can surpass me, no matter how many hundreds of thousands of years pass. Goku chuckled. Aw, come on, Vegeta. Zephyr works really hard, you have to acknowledge that at least. Vegeta snorted. I don't deny it. But a few Zenkai boosts and we pass him, I can't imagine the frustration. He paused and realized that he actually did imagine it. He looked at Goku before snorting. Goku scratched his head in confusion. Zephyr tilted his head and buried his fist in Zamasu's stomach, blasting out a hole. Zamasu sneered, got you, as his body healed, locking Zephyr's fist in his stomach. Zamasu slammed down and chopped Zephyr's hand right off. Zephyr flashed, putting his arm back on his stump. That was rude. As it healed instantly. Zamasu frowned. Immortal? Zephyr spread his palms, chuckling. Maybe Tilda. Zamasu's eyes cracked with anger. Don't play with me, I am a god. He sped up and blasted his fists out like lightning. Zephyr tilted his head, twisted and turned, walking towards Zamasu. Dumbass. Zamasu was stunned as Zephyr flashed, blowing by Zamasu as his head flew up into the air. Zephyr showed him a white energy knife over his hand. Such a mind-numbingly childish technique. Before backflipping over Zamasu's body, clapping his hands, "Let me show you a better one. Z-burner." A massive white beam blasted Zamasu entirely. He landed on the ground and reverted to normal, waving at Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta and Goku smirked before Zephyr looked down, seeing a pink energy knife going through his chest. He was stunned, looking back. "How I turned you to ashes," Zamasu sneered. "I am fucking immortal, retard." Zephyr flashed out, waving over his chest, healing himself with a frown. Goku and Vegeta waved. "Our turn?" Zephyr frowned. "No, you can't beat him in blue." Vegeta rolled his eyes. "You don't know that." Zephyr nodded. "I do. It looks easy, but I'm preempting every attack. This guy attacks at a rate of 62,183 times per second. Vegeta and Goku were stunned. Zamasu snorted and let out a breath as his Kai surged, flashing at the three. They were all blasted out, smashing through several buildings. Zephyr coughed up blood. "Fucking Zenkai boost," as he slowly got up, bursting into his new form. He flashed and kicked out as Zamasu ducked. Zephyr was dumbfounded. "What?" Zamasu sneered. "Fool, do you think I'm as stupid as you?" He pressed out and blasted Zephyr flying as Goku and Vegeta rushed over, punching and kicking. Zamasu waved his hands, redirecting the duo without even moving his feet at all. Zephyr flashed behind him and slammed his heel down. Zamasu held his arm over his head and blocked before grabbing Zephyr's ankle, slamming him into the ground, pressing out a pink beam. Zephyr flashed to the side, pressing his hands on the ground and kicking out as Zamasu blocked with one hand, waving the other as Goku and Vegeta were blocked at the same time. The three were dumbfounded. How could he be so much stronger than just before? Chapter 109, Current Objective, Survive. Zamasu burst out laughing. "I have to thank you, Goku. This body has infinite potential. Ha 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 ha." Zephyr frowned. "Fuck." Before taking his patera off, he threw them at Goku and Vegeta. "Hurry up and fuse. It only lasts an hour when non-supreme Kai fuse." They were stunned, and Zephyr shot at Zamasu at light speed, attacking insanely fast. Zamasu finally jumped back as Zephyr continued punching and kicking, pressing his hands on the ground and shooting his legs out as Zamasu blocked while backing off. He swung his palm knife, and Zephyr dissipated before appearing behind Zamasu, kicking at his neck. Zamasu slashed out and Zephyr twisted in the air, snapping Zamasu neck with his other leg. Zamasu flew out and grinded his teeth. "Crafty, mortal," as he appeared in front of Zephyr, stabbing out with his hands covered in pink energy knives. Zephyr dodged quickly, sweating hard. He jumped back and flashed off the ground, shooting through Zamasu, who appeared behind him, cutting Zephyr in half diagonally. Zamasu blasted one half as Zephyr picked up the bracelet, regenerating his body in an instant. He snapped his fingers and his clothes were restored as he slipped the bracelet back on. It sounded like a long time, but it only happened in a few seconds. Zephyr shouted, "How long does it take to put on earrings?" Zamasu charged at him as Zephyr flashed around, sweeping Zamasu's legs before pressing on the ground behind his head and stomping out. He blasted through Zamasu's body, shooting up as Zamasu regenerated like it was nothing. Before he could do anything, he was punched in the face and sent spiraling into a pile of rubble. Zephyr sat on the ground, letting out a breath, "Fuck me," as he reverted to normal, breathing heavily. Vegito looked at him and smirked. "I thought you were having fun." Zephyr gave him the finger as Vegito chuckled, throwing over the senzu bean bag. Zephyr grabbed a handful, stuffing his face before letting out a breath of relief. He watched Vegito beat Zamasu like a dog before a Kamehameha was charged up. Zephyr stood up, dusting his clothes. "Phew, we can go home no eh?" Goku and Vegeta suddenly defused. Zephyr started sweating. "EHHH." Vegeta shouted, What is going on, Zephyr?" Zephyr started sweating. I don't know." Zamasu sneered. "It's blasphemy against the gods for you to have that much power. Now you die," as he punched through portals. Zephyr was dumbfounded and punched in the face before getting pummeled by fists and feet from portals. Zephyr was dumbfounded. Fuck. Is this guy serious? Punching and kicking through portals. Is he going to hit us with a hollow purple next? The three were on the ground like dead dogs as Zamasu floated in the air, sneering. Well, three pathetic mortals on the ground again. This is punishment for defying the will of God. Zephyr stood up slowly, digging his fist in the senzu bean bag. Zamasu snatched the bag and burned it to ashes. Enough, your incessant persistence bothers me. Zephyr smirked. Heh. Before throwing out the handful, he grabbed at Vegeta and Goku. The senzu beans and pills scattered across the sky. Which ones are the real ones, Mr. God? Zamasu sneered and blasted the gold pills to dust. Fool, petty tricks won't, huh? Goku and Vegeta stood up after eating the beans. Zephyr burst out laughing before Zamasu trembled and pressed his hand out, blasting him to ashes, only leaving 4 gold bands behind. Goku and Vegeta were shocked. Zephyr! Before glaring at Zamasu angrily, they clenched their fists and powered up, bursting into Super Saiyan Blue. Then they sucked the Kai back in, not letting their Kai leak out at all. Zamasu sneered, "You've tried before, it didn't work." The duo rushed at him as Zamasu was surprised. How is this possible? They tag-teamed Zamasu, punching and kicking him before he could react. Zamasu didn't believe it. How could this be possible? But this was full-power perfect Super Saiyan Blue, on top of a Zenkai boost. Over on the side, Zephyr's head landed on the ground, and he let out a breath. Good thing I cut my own head off before the rest of my body turned to ashes, otherwise GG. He started regenerating slowly as Goku and Vegeta fought Zamasu intensely. As Goku and Vegeta fought, blue energy leaked from them occasionally. They frowned and continued fighting together until Goku kicked Vegeta out of the way from Zamasu's attack, pressing his hand out. Sorry, Beerus. Destruction. Zamasu's body started turning to sand before he grabbed Mai and held her out, stopping Goku. He kicked Goku flying as Goku landed on the ground, coughing up blood as he reverted to his normal state. Vegeta laid on the ground as Zamasu started unfusing. Shin cheered, "They did it! It's been an hour!" Zephyr looked at Zamasu as his legs regenerated. He put back the gold bands and picked up his Patara before being clothed again. He frowned at Zamasu, who was refusing the fusion. Damn, this guy won't just come back together, right? Suddenly, Vegeta burst out and slashed out with his arm, severing Zamasu from head to toe. Trunks picked up Mai and stabbed through Goku Black, but was blasted by a Kai Blast. Zephyr appeared, grabbing Trunks and Mai's Vegeta, Goku, and Zamasu were dumbfounded. "You're alive." Zephyr spat out his tongue. "I reversed time to before I was destroyed." Goku was stunned. "Wow, really?" Zephyr rolled his eyes. "No, not really. I cut off my own head and threw it in the air." Goku was speechless. Zephyr took Trunks and Mai to Shin and Gawasu before teleporting back, grabbing Goku and Vegeta, who was angry. Gamma Burst Flash. He blasted the 2 new fused Zamasu to pieces, making them multiply. Zephyr felt his scalp tingling as he grabbed Goku and Vegeta by the hair, teleporting away as the army of Zamasu attacked them. They landed near the time machine as Shin said quickly, "You guys use the time machine. We'll go back using the time rings." Goku was stunned. "You're going to leave him like this?" Shin was desperate. "What else can we do?" Goku shouted. "He said he was going to destroy all parallel worlds." Zamasu said from a building, "Not only them." Everyone looked at him as Zamasu sneered, "I have a time machine as well, the one created in the 12th universe." Gawasu cursed, "Damn you, you even remembered this." Vegeta waved, "You guys go, I'll fight him to the very end." They were stunned, but Goku snorted with a smile, "If you're staying, I'm staying." As there were thousands of Zamasus everywhere. Zephyr scratched his head and sighed, "You guys, well, my fate is intertwined with Vegeta. Guess I have no choice, Tilda," as he stepped on the other side of Vegeta, who smirked at him. "Funny, I took you for a deserter." Zephyr rolled his eyes and threw out 2 handfuls of Senzu Bean trail mix. Zephyr swallowed a handful himself. Tilda, I added life fruit berries and youthful chocolate pieces." The 3 looked visibly younger, as though they were 16 again. Zephyr smirked, "Looking good, maybe we'll even make it out alive." Vegeta and Goku chuckled, readying themselves. Chapter 110, Good Boy Zeno-chan. Goku scratched his chest before finding a button. Huh. He looked at Shin. Does the king of all worlds still exist here? Shin was startled before nodding. He should always exist. Goku shouted, Trunks, wait, we're coming with you. Trunks stopped the time machine as Goku smirked, pressing the button. Zeno appeared suddenly, before falling down face first. He got up and patted himself. All the Zamasu were terrified. Ai is that, the King of all worlds? Zeno looked around. Wow, this place looks like shit. Goku waved. Yo. Zeno looked at him. Who are you? Goku grinned. I'm Son Goku. I'm friends with you in my world. Zeno hummed. MHM what happened to this place? Does it always look like this? So ugly? Goku pointed at Zamasu. He did this. Zeno looked over him. There's so many. Goku nodded. That's right. They're all bad guys. Zeno had dead fish eyes as he stared at Zamasu for a while. That really bugs me. Zamasu turned a strange shade of piss yellow-green as he was terrified. Goku leaned over to Zeno. Right? This place used to have really tasty candies, but he ruined it. Zeno was shocked. What? Really? Goku nodded and looked at Zephyr, who was stunned before blinking. Oh, yeah, Zeno-san, you won't believe it, but... He pulled out a lollipop. I was going to get you a gift. This is the last one in this entire world because of that guy. Zeno held the lollipop as Goku took off the wrapper for him. You just suck on it. Zeno put the lollipop in his mouth and said, Wow, this is great. This is the last one because of him? Goku nodded and gave Zephyr a thumbs up behind his back. Zephyr held his hips, of course. His acting was immaculate. Zeno frowned. He's better off gone. No, a world without lollipops is better off erased. Goku's scalp was numb. Go, 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 go. As he dragged Vegeta and Zephyr to the time machine, inside. Zephyr teleported them inside as Trunks started the machine quickly, blinking away as Zeno erased the entire timeline. They landed on the lawn in their own world, jumping out. Zephyr shouted, Good going, he erased the entire timeline. Goku complained, How was I supposed to know? Zephyr jumped up and down with anger. Don't you know how much Zeno-chan likes lollipops? Beerus came over. What's going on? Tell me everything. As he looked at Zephyr with confusion. Zephyr explained what happened to him before Goku took over, explaining the entire fighting process. It lasted well into the night as they had a massive barbecue. Zephyr changed into normal clothes, pulling Launch into his arms. Then I said, You, my friend, are out of time. Before blasting him to ashes. Launch squealed, Kaya 3. Zephyr laughed and kissed her as Goku ate a kebab. I didn't think he'd wipe out the timeline, you know. Beerus snorted as Vegeta added, We almost got erased along with it. Bulma smiled. That's great. Mind telling me why you all look 16 years old? I thought Saiyans suddenly experience growth spurts. Vegeta pointed at Zephyr. He made a trail mix or something. Anyway, my body feels much better like this, as though it was made for fighting. Zephyr drank from a wine pot. Of course. I added ultimate fighting physique nuts. Vegeta rolled his eyes, right, as he continued eating. Bulma held out her hand. Ahem. Zephyr tossed her a bag carelessly. Bulma ate a handful before the rest of the girls ran over, eating the Senzu bean trail mix like animals. The next second, they all turned into youthful beauties. Zephyr's eyes bulged, looking at Launch, spitting out his wine all over Pilaf's face. Pilaf swayed and face-planted on the ground, drunk out of his mind. Launch touched her breasts. Oh wow, I feel amazing. Zephyr pulled her into his lap. I can make you feel better, lover Tilda. Launch giggled and leaned on his chest. Hee Tilda. Goku took the time machine again and came back with the Zeno from that timeline. Zephyr hugged him. Little Zeno. Zeno sat in Zephyr's lap. Hello. Beerus was terrified but not able to say a word, swallowing constantly. Zephyr booped his nose. I have something for you. Zeno looked at him. Yeah. Zephyr winked. Of course, how can you help us and we not get you a gift? As he took out a bag, it's full of the most delicious candies in the world. Zeno's eyes sparkled. Wea Tilda. As he ate the candies, yay, chewing happily. Zeno rubbed his head, smiling happily. He's so cute. Beerus collapsed. I'm going to die of a heart attack one day. Wise, these bastards are going to kill me. Wise covered his mouth and chuckled. Goku squatted in front of Zeno. Hey, I know a place with a friend. Zeno's eyes lit up. Really, Goku? Goku nodded and looked back. Can we go to that place again? Wise smiled and nodded, as he tapped his staff. Shin, Goku, Zephyr, and Wise appeared in the King of All Palace. Zephyr was holding Zeno as they walked down the hall with Wise, Father, the Grand Priest. They came to Zeno and Zephyr put him down. Be sure to brush your teeth and don't forget to share. Also, you have to bathe every day, you know. Zeno nodded quickly and ran over to the other Zeno. Hey, wanna play, okay? Before they ran off together. Zephyr chased worriedly. Don't fall, Zenos. Goku laughed as Shin burst into a cold sweat. The Grand Priest looked at Wise. Was this your idea? Wise smiled. Actually, it was Goku's. The Grand Priest chuckled. I envy your 7th universe. Wise glanced at him with a sly look. You're welcome to visit any time, Father. The Grand Priest curled his lips. One day. In the end, Zephyr stressed to the Grand Priest that the King of All needed to brush his teeth often. The Grand Priest pursed his lips and rolled his eyes, nodding. Wise shook his head and tapped the staff, returning back to Earth as Zephyr complained. But I wasn't finished. Wise bonked him. The Grand Priest knows what to do, of course. You don't have to remind him. Zephyr rubbed his head and sighed worriedly. What if he forgets? Zeno's just a child, you know. Wise rolled his eyes and ignored him. When they got back, Gowasu bowed and thanked them for their help. After Beerus warned him, he left. Beerus also left with Wise. Future Trunks decided to go back to the future, before Dabura and Zamasu showed up. Zephyr handed him a big bag. Here, kid. Future Trunks' lips twitched. Zephyr looked at him. If you can, try and trick Beerus into training you. A couple ramen cups should do. Future Trunks nodded and left with Mai. 6 months later. Chapter 111, Xenochans, I Brought You Gifts Tilda. Zephyr was training with Vegeta on Beerus' planet, fighting hard. They stopped and Vegeta wiped his sweat. All right, that's enough for now. I have to go back and stay with Bulma. Zephyr wiped his sweat. Okay. Wise looked at his staff. Oh, Goku wants to come along. I'll grab him on the way back. He left with Vegeta as Zephyr looked over at Beerus. Wanna go, kitty cat? Beerus yawned. I want a nap. Zephyr pouted. You purple rat, lazy fuck, asshole, loser. Beerus waved. Keep going, I won't fight you no matter what. Zephyr frowned. Fine, I guess you're just a pussy cat. Beerus yawned and licked his lips. Oh, Zephyr shouted. What's wrong with you? I get you're a cat, but are you that lazy? Beerus yawned again. I told you, I need a nap. I've been awake for so long now. Usually I'm up for a month, 2 max. Zephyr shouted angrily. I can't sit here and wait 1,000 years for a sparring session, you lazy asshole. Beerus sneered. Even in 1,000 years you won't be even a match for me. Zephyr sneered and grinned. Then I'll go train with Master for 1 billion years. Then I'll come back and beat the shit out of you. Beerus waved. Go, I'll see you in 1 billion years, okay? Zephyr sighed and wilted, sulking. Please spar with me, Lord Beerus-sama. Beerus smirked, getting comfortable. Maybe if you ask nicely, Tilda. Zephyr kicked him flying, shouting, I just did asshole. Beerus shouted angrily. All right, that's it. I don't care how delicious your wife's ramen is, you're getting destroyed today. Zephyr grinned, come on, as he went Big Bang State and flashed at Beerus, fighting at light speed. An hour later. Goku arrived and looked at Zephyr holding his knees and panting as Beerus sneered at him. Had enough. Zephyr wiped the blood off his lips. No way. As he attacked again before getting slapped with a tail, flying out. He jumped up. Why can't I predict it? Beerus yawned. Bulma sends her regards. Zephyr stomped. Damn it, Bulma, as he charged at Beerus, flashing through time, but Beerus stopped him. Time doesn't work on gods. Zephyr pushed himself and punched at Beerus insanely fast. As punches came from nowhere suddenly, Beerus blocked them all, punching from the past into the future. Not bad. He flicked his tail at nothing as Zephyr was shocked. You blocked a punch to the past too, you asshole. Beerus chuckled and Zephyr sped up, flashing like crazy, pressing his hands on the ground and slamming his feet out hard. Beerus blocked them both and kicked Zephyr in the face. You almost got me there. As Zephyr ran into Beerus' fist from behind, he slid down to the ground, reverting to normal. Beerus stepped on him. Just because you have good food, you think I'll let you go? As he stomped on Zephyr, take this, and that, and this. Goku was speechless, looking at Wise, who spread his hands, sighing with a smile. Goku grinned, I'm up next. Beerus yawned, I'm tired. Zephyr jumped up and punched Beerus in the chin. Zephyr laughed, ha 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 ha, you prick, I got you, h-a-h-a-h-c-k, before he was stomped into the ground. Goku looked at the dupe before asking, by the way, what happened to the tournament with all universes? I'm getting anxious here. Beerus walked on Zephyr towards Goku, forget about it. The king of all is too pure-hearted that he's unpredictable. Zephyr got up and ate a handful of Senzu bean trail mix before going to shower. By the time he got back, he saw Goku holding a button. Zephyr's eyes widened and he flashed over, grabbing Goku's shirt as he pressed the button. They both disappeared as Beerus and Wise froze. Goku and Zephyr appeared in Zeno's place. Zephyr jumped up, Zeno-kun tilde. Zenos looked and ran over, Goku, Zephyr. Zephyr squatted down and grinned, have you been brushing your teeth? They nodded and showed him their teeth before Zephyr nodded, rubbing their heads, I brought more gifts. They cheered as Zephyr took out more candy, RC cars, video games, and small drivable toy cars. The Zenos were shocked and cheered as Zephyr put them in the cars. You do this, and then turn here. They started driving around and giggling. Zephyr held his hips, standing up with a fatherly smile. It's really nice seeing them happy. The Grand Priest walked over and rolled his eyes. What are you two doing here? Goku smiled. Hey, I wanted to know how that tournament was going. Zeno drove over, tournament? The other drove by, oh, I forgot. Goku scratched his head, I thought so. The two looked at each other, oh, if we do that, then we can do the other thing. They nodded, sounds good, let's do that then. One Zeno looked at the Grand Priest, when would be good, Grand Priest? He hummed, how about 5 ticks? Goku and Zephyr were confused as he smiled, about 40 Earth hours. They were stunned, so soon. Before waving, we need to go then. The Grand Priest stopped them, oh, wait, apart from Beerus, the other gods need to be informed. Goku was speechless, that'll take forever for them to get here? The Grand Priest smiled, no, they'll be here instantly. He talked into his staff, all angel guides. This is the Grand Priest, please respond. Are you all there, everyone listening? I have something to discuss with everyone, so prepare to be here immediately. That is all. Goku was stunned, that's it. Zephyr muttered, well, he's like the king of angels, so I guess it's not that hard. Goku rubbed his head, yeah, I guess, haha. Zephyr took out 2 more cars, wanna race. Zenos were happy as Goku, and Zephyr started racing in cars around the room. A minute later. Chapter 112. Sorry, what I meant to say was, everyone here other than Beerus is trash. The Grand Priest looked over, that should be enough. Goku and Zephyr looked up as the Grand Priest smiled, waving his hands. The 2 Zenos got out of the cars as Zephyr and Goku stood on the side of them. All the gods of destruction, angels, and Supreme Kais appeared, lining both sides of the hall. Goku was stunned, so many. Zephyr looked around, rubbing his chin, muttering, oh, that angel with the twin tails is cute. Margarita's lips twitched. Goku leaned over, whispering, look at that. There's a robot god of destruction. Zephyr was stunned. Wow, can Bulma make something like that? Goku shrugged and Zephyr added seriously, but don't they need destruction, Kai? Goku scratched his head. I thought so too, maybe not. Everyone except Zenos, and the Grand Priest sweat dropped. Can you shut up, please? The Grand Priest chuckled happily, looking over. Belmod this. Belmod, the clown God said, Lord Grand Priest. I was thinking about retiring soon. This is my apprentice, Toppo. The Grand Priest smiled kindly. Well, make sure you train hard to become a god of destruction, Toppo. Toppo was overwhelmed with favor. Oh, of course. Thank you very much, Lord Grand Priest. Zephyr rubbed his chin and discussed with Goku. That guy looks strong. The uniform is a bit strange. Maybe he's part of a martial arts school. Goku pursed his lips. Maybe that's what they wear on his planet. Zephyr shrugged. I don't know, it doesn't look like normal clothes to me. Maybe he was in the middle of training when he was summoned. Goku looked at Toppo, who had veins throbbing on his head by now, maybe. But anyways, it's already a great start. He looks tough. Zephyr rubbed his hands happily. I know, I'm excited. Before adding, by the way, that angel with the braid is cute too. Wow. Goku looked at him speechlessly. Zephyr spread his hands. What? I can't appreciate beautiful girls. Goku rolled his eyes. The angel in question, Kusu, smiled cutely. Hee tilde. It's been a while since someone dared to call her cute. She liked this ignorant mortal. The Grand Priest raised his hand as the 8th universe appeared. The Supreme Kai laughed, ha, sorry, before kneeling as he swallowed fearfully. Zephyr was shocked, oh my god, a Kyuubi. Goku rubbed his eyes, I thought they were myths, before pausing, oh, he has 3 tails. Zephyr looked carefully, squinting, I thought he had 9. Liquier's lips twitched and the Grand Priest smiled. Now then, everyone is here at last. I will now deliver an announcement from the kings of all. All the gods gulped as Zephyr handed Goku a cup of ramen. Xenos looked up and held out their hands. Zephyr shook his head. This isn't good for children. The gods were terrified as Zephyr handed them some curry instead. Here you go. Xenos ate the curry and smiled happily. Tasty, yummy, wow. Zephyr slurped the noodles silently as the Grand Priest continued. We shall be holding a tournament of power where members selected by each universe will compete in strength and ability. The various gods of destruction mumbled and Xeno looked at the robot. What did he say? The Supreme Kai waved his hands. He's only worried there isn't enough time. Xeno looked at him with dead eyes as the angel, Campari, smiled. He is amazed at your wonderful planning skills, Lord King of all. Xeno nodded as he continued eating. Zephyr looked at Goku. He's right though, there's not enough time. Goku shrugged. We'll make do, I guess. Xeno looked up. It's not good. Zephyr and Goku looked at him as the gods swallowed nervously. Zephyr smiled. Well, it's a bit tight. But if that's what you want, Xeno-kun tilde, as he rubbed Xeno's head. The other Xeno walked over on his tiptoes. Zephyr rubbed both their heads, smiling happily. The gods were terrified. Who are these mortals? One Xeno said, I don't get it. The Grand Priest blinked. Oh, you haven't seen the match before, well, no matter, we can do a demonstration this instant. As he snapped his fingers. A stage appeared with floating platforms. Goku and Zephyr appeared behind Beerus, Wise, and Shin. The other gods glared at them. Of course it's Beerus' universe. This damn bastard, I'll kill him. Beerus glared at them. You bastards. Goku, I told you not to bring it up. And you're hiding food from me again? Zephyr was speechless. Asshole, you wouldn't spar with me, I don't care about you. HMPH, as he turned his head. Beerus throttled him as the Grand Priest smiled. Now, if all the gods of destruction get on the stage, please. All the gods of destruction were dumbfounded. What? Goku and Zephyr's eyes lit up. Hey, we get to watch. That's awesome. Shin facepalmed. Where can you find a Supreme Kai like you? Zephyr kicked Beerus out. Give him hell, Beerus-sama. The rest jumped down, looking up. Grand Priest, what are the rules? The Grand Priest floated over the stage. We will be deciding many things based on the results of this battle. So for now, you should fight as though you're trying to kill each other. I'm considering a prize for the winner. By the way, any god that doesn't perform or goes easy will be erased. Zephyr shouted, Hey, you Supreme Kais. They looked over and Zephyr grinned, rubbing his nose. Heh, how about a wager? I put 5 fruits from the Tree of Might on Beerus, as he held up the 5 fruits. The Supreme Kais sucked in a breath of cold air. This is a rich man. Chapter 113. Turns out, beating elephants is completely legal. One Kai snorted, How can he beat Quitela? I'll take that bet. Zephyr waved his finger. Where's the wager, buddy? You think just because you're orange you get a pass? Kuru clicked his tongue. I'll beat 10-star beads. Zephyr looked at the beads and grinned. Those'll look great on my wife's neck. Kuru snorted. Win first, yeah? Another Kai said. I'll bet 7 universe crystals on Arak. Zephyr laughed. See? The fatty has the guts to bet. What about the rest of you? Yo, onion head, you're not betting on Champa. Fua's lips twitched as Vados laughed. Wai smiled and shook his head, bonking Zephyr. Enough, Zephyr. Look down. Zephyr rubbed his head and looked down as the gods of destruction were glaring at him. He snorted, Come on, come beat me. I'm not afraid of you. Lord Beerus said that he's the strongest god of destruction, the rest are trash. Beerus burst into a cold sweat as they all looked at him. The strongest, eh? Hey, why don't we see about that? Beerus. Zephyr smirked, muttering, Bastard cat, don't spar with me again and you'll be fighting angels next time, I swear. The angels all twitched, looking at Wise, who chuckled. Goku cheered, Come on, Beerus, you got this. Beerus groaned and powered up. All right, come on, you bunch of bastards. I'll show you who the real god of destruction is. Come all at once. Come on, what are you waiting for? Huuuh. They all started fighting as Zephyr cheered happily. Beat the shit out of him. That bastard. Ha 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 ha. Wise was about to bonk him again as Zephyr waved, throwing out popcorn without looking as he watched Beerus fight off 11 destroyers at once. Fuck, that's awesome. Goku looked excited. He's not holding back at all. Zephyr also looked excited. I knew this jerk was holding back. He didn't even use 1% of his power. Goku sighed. That's depressing. Zephyr waved. Don't worry, we'll catch him and beat him senseless one day. Goku grinned. Haha, but me first though. Zephyr paused and looked at him with a frown. What do you mean you first? I'm going first. Goku frowned. Huh, I always go first. Zephyr shouted. Exactly. That's why I'm going first this time. Goku furrowed his brows. That doesn't make any sense. If I go first all the time, why would you go first this time? Plus, you fought fused Zamasu first. Zephyr clenched a fist. Yeah, then you fucked up your fusion. Goku retorted, those were your earrings, not my fault. Zephyr grinded his teeth. Fine, we'll fight for first rights. Goku smirked. Now you're talking my language, as they started fighting on the spot. I said lightly, oh wow, look at that technique. The duo flashed back to the edge, overlooking the fight closely. What technique? Before pouting, you tricked us. Wise chuckled while eating popcorn. You can fight later, no. Zephyr and Goku were dumbfounded. Wow, he's right. As they turned, watching the fight closely. Zephyr sat down with Goku, handing him a plate of ultra-dense high-nutrient steak with pepper sauce. They ate and watched, commenting here and there, oh wow, hey, he can use barriers. Isn't that a Kai thing? Wow. Then the elephant god of destruction roared extremely loudly. Zephyr was started and dropped his food, looking at it disappear into the void with wide eyes. My food? He clenched his fists. My food. Shin collapsed unconscious as Wise explained. Rumshi's battle cry is so loud that it renders the motor nerves of anyone who hears it paralyzed, which makes it powerful enough to knock out Supreme Kai. Zephyr shook and mumbled, Launch made me that, she said it was special. He grit his teeth and his eyes turned completely white. You ruined my wife's food, you fucking elephant. He exploded off the platform and burst with Kai, stomping on Rumshi. There was a huge explosion, as Rumshi slammed into the ground. Zephyr grabbed his trunk and slammed him on the ground, kicking him flying into the platform, shooting off and stomping on his face, smashing through a platform with a Supreme Kai and Angel on it. Rumshi flew out before stopping as Zephyr breathed out, drooling like an animal, veins throbbing all over him. I will kill you. Rumshi was dumbfounded. How dare Wise Zephyr appeared, digging his fist in Rumshi's stomach, battering him in under a second, twitching his hands as Rumshi flew out before roaring loudly. Zephyr roared, shut UUUP. As he swung his fist, tearing through time and landing 10k hits in under a second in the same place, smashing Rumshi through the stage, blasting out a massive hole. Zephyr breathed out angrily, putting his hands out, past, present, future erasure. A massive beam of blazing white light with lightning crackling around it burst from his hands. The Grand Priest arrived and tapped on it with his finger, dissipating the beam instantly as Zephyr froze, reverting to normal, unconscious, falling through the void. Goku caught him. Wow, I didn't know you were so strong, Zephyr. He teleported back to Wise, who looked at Zephyr, smiling. Looks like he broke through his limits with extreme rage. Very nice. Before looking over at the Grand Priest, who blinked before smiling. Zeno clapped. Oh, the fight with the others was boring, but that was cool. Goku fed Zephyr a senzu bean as he sat up. Huh, what happened? He looked around before not finding his food. He started shaking and Goku pressed on his shoulders. Okay, we can go get more, right? Zephyr clenched his fists. That was made with Launch's love and care. Damn it. As he stuffed his face with senzu bean trail mix. The Supreme Kais that were still standing looked horrified. That was Supreme Time Kai. They muttered, no wonder he's dressed like that. It's her for sure. Oh God, another devil in the making. Meanwhile, Zeno pouted, but if it's like before, then forget it. The Grand Priest asked, do you want to cancel the tournament? Goku was stunned and flew over. Hold on, ally, wait a sec. The gods of destruction were shocked. Ally. Chapter 114. Goku versus Top. Goku landed down and said, "Sure, Beerus and the others fighting was so crazy that you couldn't tell what was happening, but ours won't be like that at all." Ally Zeno said, "Huh, really? What should we do then?" Future Zeno said, "Then show us one of your fights, Goku." Goku was stunned. "One of my fights." The Grand Priest smiled. "That would be wonderful." Goku waved. "Hold on, I won't be able to show my true power against a god of destruction. Rumshi was injured before, but now they're all healed, we don't really stand a chance." Grand Priest smiled. "We happen to have Toppo here, no?" He looked over. "Or Zephyr will do as well." Zephyr perked up before glaring at Rumshi. "I'd rather beat the elephant." Rumshi's eyes twitched in anger. Zephyr gave him the finger as Goku chuckled. "I want to see that tough guy's stuff, if that's all right." Belmod looked at Toppo. "Go ahead, Toppo." Toppo was silent for a moment before nodding. "As you wish, Master Belmod." He jumped onto the stage as Goku jumped down. "Hey," Toppo asked, "are you also a god of destruction candidate?" Goku shook his head. "I don't care about that at all. I just want to get stronger." Toppo was silent for a few moments, before saying, "I see." Goku turned into Super Saiyan and started. But the power gap was a bit big. Xeno was stunned. "Wow, he can transform like Zephyr, that's so cool." Ally nodded. "Goku can transform, the Grand Priest asked. "Why's how many times?" Wise smiled. "Well, there's Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4, then God, then Blue. So 6 times. Xeno waved. "Waya tilde, I want to see them all." Wise shouted, "Goku tilde Lord King of all would like to see all your transformations." Goku was stunned and nodded. "Okay." Toppo clicked his tongue. "You're holding out 5 more transformations." Goku chuckled. "I wasn't planning on showing them all." As he transformed to Super Saiyan 2, Xeno muttered, "I don't see a difference." Beerus shouted, "Goku, next!" Goku transformed into Super Saiyan 3 as Xeno and Ally clapped. "Wow, he looks all mean and scary, so cool." Goku continued fighting Toppo hard in his Super Saiyan 3 form. Toppo punched him flying. "Next one, stop wasting my time." Zephyr frowned. "Hey, this guy's got an attitude." Weiss smiled. "I'm sure he's all business all the time." Beerus snorted. "I hate these types." Zephyr snorted and nodded. "Seriously." Goku transformed into Super Saiyan 4 and both Xenos were odd. "Wow, even more scary." Goku fought with Toppo and ducked a punch, sending him sliding back with a gut punch. Toppo rubbed his stomach. "That's it," as he charged over, punching his huge fists wildly. Goku jumped back, dodging the fists. "HMPH. You're starting to slow down, Toppo." Toppo was stunned as Goku attacked him with a flurry of attacks. Goku jumped back and turned into Super Saiyan God before continuing. Toppo and Goku were going back and forth as Zephyr turned a can of Coke to ashes, burping, "I don't see what's special about this guy. He's a god of destruction candidate." Beerus snorted. "God of destruction candidates are naturally special in their own way." Zephyr looked at him and replied flatly, "We have like 8 applicable candidates on Earth, man." Beerus' lips twitched. "Not every universe has a group of freaks like you guys." Zephyr rolled his eyes and looked over at the orange Kai, rubbing his fingers. The Kai's lips twitched, and he sent over the star beads. After all, Beerus did win in the end. He was the last one standing. Zephyr looked at all the stuff in his hands and grinned, putting it away before drinking from a wine pot. Tilde the sweet smell of a good gamba. Beerus leaned over. "Where's my cut?" Zephyr was stunned. "What cut? You did fuck all." Beerus growled. "I was the one fighting." Zephyr looked at him speechlessly. "Have you ever heard of a fighter demanding a cut from the organization?" Beerus was speechless and pointed a finger at Zephyr's face. "Food or destruction." Zephyr clicked his tongue. "You're bluffing." Beerus raised a brow. Do you want to take that gamble?" Zephyr looked at him before turning to Wise. "He's bullying me." Kusu coughed and giggled far off on another platform. Rumshi looked at her. "Kusu," she coughed and smiled. "So sorry, Lord Rumshi. I thought of something funny just now." Rumshi was upset. He'll be laughed at for millennia to come. Oh look, it's the god of destruction that got beat up over a steak. Just thinking about it made him angry. Wise rolled his eyes. "Handle it yourself, you're a big boy now. I even saw you go to the bathroom without help." Zephyr was speechless and sighed before holding out a big plate of broccoli, saying earnestly, Lord Beerus, you'll end up like Champa if you eat too much meats. Beerus' eyes twitched angrily. Goku, go blue and finish this. I have something to do when we get back. Zephyr grinned slyly. Hee tilde success. Beerus narrowed his eyes. What was that? Zephyr looked at him innocently. Nothing, Lord Beerus-sama. Beerus squinted so hard his eyes were nearly shut. If that broccoli doesn't change to pizza within the next 5 seconds, I'll never spar with you again. Zephyr's face turned pale. What? Beerus said 4. Zephyr threw a pizza at him. Asshole. Beerus grinned and ate the pizza. Oh, yum. Goku punched Toppo in his blue form, but Toppo countered and sent Goku flying off the ring. Goku was stunned and Beerus choked on his pizza. Zephyr mumbled, choke to death, bastard. Beerus swallowed and glared at him, while Zephyr turned his head. HMPH. Chapter 115. Frieza, I've come to bargain. Goku and Toppo talked about some stuff before Goku came back to the platform. Damn, that guy was tough. He said that he was even the second strongest in his universe. Zephyr was making a necklace out of the star beads, which were literally beads with stars in them. He looked over. Goku looked excited. Yeah, he said that he had a friend that was stronger than the clown guy. Zephyr looked over at Belmod. He doesn't look so tough. Belmod turned and glared as Zephyr sneered at him. What? You got a problem? Why so serious, asshole? Belmod's eyes cracked and Wise bonked Zephyr on the head. Why must you make enemies of the god of destruction? Zephyr rubbed his head and replied, because that way, I have enough fire burning behind me to push my body to improve. He looked indifferent. Otherwise, I'll be destroyed. So I should stimulate myself and break past my limits. Either slaughter them or get destroyed. It doesn't really matter in the end. Wise and Beerus were stunned silly as Goku laughed. That's the Zephyr I know. While patting Zephyr's back happily, oh, but we should go get our teammates. The Grand Priest smiled. All right, everyone. After watching the match, we decided on the rules. Please select 10 fighters from your universes, excluding gods of destruction. We've changed the rules here. If you fall off the ring, you're out. Goku was stunned. What if they collapse on the ring? The Grand Priest looked over. Then please throw them out. Of course, you shouldn't kill them. The battle will be 100 ticks long. Wise translated, 48 minutes. Zephyr and Goku were stunned, but the Grand Priest continued. There will only be one match, so everyone will be fighting on the same stage. It's not an issue as we'll be preparing a large stage. After everyone has fought the designated time, the group with the most warriors will win. Of course, if you knock everyone else out, then you will also win. A Kai with a nerd face glasses asked, what do we get if we win? I mean the universe in particular. The Grand Priest looked at him. The winner will receive a wish with the Super Dragon Balls, while the universe itself will get nothing. The Kai was dumbfounded, and nothing. Zephyr rolled his eyes. Keep up, 4 eyes. He said you get to have nothing happen, meaning if you win you don't get erased. Everyone was shocked. What? The Grand Priest smiled at Zephyr, nodding. Yes, exactly. The universes that lose will be erased. That goes for the gods of destruction as well, but not the angels. Zephyr looked up at Wise. Oh, thank God, right? Wise pouted. Am I so indifferent to you all? Zephyr, Beerus, and Goku looked at him as Wise sighed. The Grand Priest chuckled and waved. As of now, please hurry. I will transport you to the stage, gather wherever you like, but together please. Farewell? As everyone disappeared instantly. They reappeared on Beerus' planet and Beerus slapped Goku. Zephyr slapped him. Kitty, shut up. We have a big problem and you have to help. Beerus was dazed. Zephyr looked at them all seriously. We have what others don't. A hyperbolic time chamber. With 39 hours, we can get a whole year of training. Since I upgraded the time chamber, we can all go in at once. He pointed at Beerus. You can train all of us within 24 hours. Beerus looked at Wise, who nodded. Well, that's true. Beerus touched Wise and grabbed the other two. Let's hurry back. Wise patted Shin, who teleported back to Earth. Zephyr flew off. Goku, go find some people. I'll find some and then at the end of the training, we'll choose 10. Goku nodded and flew off. Bulma walked out. Beerus and Wise. They smiled. We're hungry. Bulma was stunned. Zephyr stopped at home, looking at Rifle and Bulla, who were watching a movie on the couch. His lips twitched and he flew through the house, coming to Launch in their room. Launch looked up. Zephyr smiled and hugged her. Another tournament if we lose our universe is erased. Launch was stunned. Oh wow, can I watch? Zephyr nodded. Sure. Launch clapped, giggling, yay Tilda. Zephyr kissed her and smiled. It's in around 40 hours. Gather everyone with you, okay? Launch nodded and started making calls, rocking a crib next to her with a baby sleeping inside. Zephyr flew back down, grabbing Bulla and Rifle, flying out. You can awkwardly date later. Time to train with the god of destruction, Tilda. The duo were stunned. Zephyr flew over to Rocket's house. Yo! Rocket, Gohan, and Pan walked out. Huh, Dad, Grandpa. Zephyr looked at them. Meet me at Kami's lookout in 5 minutes. Before flying away. They were stunned inside before flying to Kami's lookout. Zephyr visited Roshi, Tyne, Yamcha, and Piccolo, sending all of them to Kami's lookout. They all arrived as Zephyr teleported away. Krillin looked over. Hey you guys, Tyne asked. What are you guys doing here? Krillin smiled, training with the god of destruction. Tyne nodded. Us too, as they all nodded. Raditz and Nappa slammed into the ground suddenly as their kids appeared as well. Huh. Everyone was stunned. You guys. Raditz and Nappa were dumbfounded. Everyone, what's going on? Vegeta kicked us here. Meanwhile, Zephyr was in hell. He looked up at Frieza, who was trembling with anger. Monkey. Zephyr waved. Hey, he chuckled. What a cozy place. Frieza was so angry, he almost died again. The fairies and teddy bears cheered. Zephyr hugged them all. Oh my god, so cute Tilda. They cheered again as Frieza growled. Come to mock me. Zephyr waved his finger and Goku appeared. Ha 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 ha, we had the same idea. Zephyr grinned as Goku looked at Frieza. I have a deal for you. Chapter 116. Sorry, what I meant to say was, everyone here other than Universe 7 is trash. Frieza frowned. What? Goku and Zephyr explained the situation as Frieza was shocked, frowning. I have a condition. They looked at each other before looking at him as he snorted. I want to be revived when we win. Zephyr and Goku were stunned. You're confident. Frieza snorted with disgust. My superior being losing to ants from another universe? Impossible. I will not lose to anyone except you bastard Saiyans. Zephyr looked at Goku. We can do it. Then just revive him later. Anyway, we can kill him again if it comes to that. Goku nodded and clapped. All right, come on, Frieza, as they disappeared with him. Zephyr came to Yema and explained the situation to him. He was shocked. What? Universe erased? Zephyr nodded. Yeah, high stakes, man. Yema grumbled and said, Okay, I can extend his time on Earth for a week. Zephyr waved, sure, thanks old man, before disappearing. When he returned to Kami's lookout, he saw Frieza laughing. Oh look, the monkeys have multiplied. Little monkeys, how have you been without your lord giving you orders? Nappa and Raditz glared at him. Bastard Frieza. Zephyr waved and walked through them. Shut up and get inside. Only the top 10 will be selected to fight in the Tournament of Power. Everyone was stunned. Was that? Zephyr's lips twitched and he kicked them into the hyperbolic time chamber. Just get it and shut up. As everyone gathered inside, Beerus explained the situation. So, we have to fight all other universes, well, except a few but whatever. Basically, if we lose our universe is erased. So I will be training you all for a year and by the end of it we will do a power test. The top 10 will be brought to represent Universe 7 and fight to keep the universe alive. Of course, you can stay here and cry, but when you get erased it's not my problem. The rest were shocked and Zephyr waved. A giant table appeared. There's food, Senzu bean trail mix, hyper recovery water, etc. on this table. During this year you'll be training extremely intensely. Get it? Good, let's start. Wei smiled and tapped his staff as everyone wore a weight suit. Then the training began. A whole year passed Tilde. Finally, the 10 were selected. Goku, Zephyr, Vegeta, Frieza, Piccolo, Gohan, 17, 18, and Bulla, Rifle. The 2 kids scratched their heads and cheered, high-fiving. They took a 2-hour break before Zephyr returned to the hyperbolic time chamber for another 6 months. The rest jumped in as well. And finally, the time came. They were standing around as Bulma pushed 17 and 18 out. All right, your modifications are finished. Go ahead. Wise waved everyone over and they held hands in a circle, disappearing into the sky. They all landed on a massive platform as the other universes arrived. Rifle skipped over. Caulifla clicked her tongue. This annoying bastard. Bulla frowned and walked over. Zephyr rubbed his wrists as he looked over, rolling his eyes. He turned to Zeno. Hey. Zeno waved from above as Zephyr asked, can we show everyone on Earth? The Grand Priest thought about it. You want everyone in the universes to be able to watch. Zephyr thought about it saying, then everyone can admire how smart Zeno is, making such a competition all by himself. Zeno's clapped. Yeah. The Grand Priest rolled his eyes and snapped his fingers. It's done. Everyone in all universes suddenly had screens appear above their planets, or in front of them in space, or underground in their homes. They all showed the Tournament of Power. Zephyr stretched and said excitedly, oh man, I can't wait to start. Goku nodded and jumped up and down. Seriously. Vegeta crossed his arms and snorted, looking over at Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale talking to Rifle and Bulla. These two, there was a turning point. They were both similar to Gohan. He turned back. Hopefully they can prove themselves here. Universe 11 appeared. Zephyr, Goku, and Vegeta turned instantly, staring at one person's back. They muttered, man, he's different. How does someone turn into that? Vegeta muttered, I don't know. Zephyr rubbed his chin. He looks like a classic alien. Gray skin, big eyes, he's pretty cool. Goku went over to chat before getting the cold shoulder. He sulked back as Zephyr chuckled. Is he an ice cube? Goku scratched his head. I guess. Zephyr raised his voice. I wonder if he'll still be cold when all his teammates get beaten senselessly. The entire Team 11 looked over as Zephyr grinned, crackling his fists. What do you think, 1v9? His lips curled a bit crazily. They sneered at him as Goku held him back. Come on, you can't hog them all. Zephyr's eyes swirled. Hee hee. Vegeta looked at Toppo. You took out Kakarot? Toppo was surprised and nodded. I did, yes. Vegeta pointed a thumb at himself. Then you deal with me. The other universes pouted as Vegeta frowned. What are you trash looking at? Honestly, why even show up if you're this weak? It's a wonder where you get the confidence to even show your faces. If this is the highest your universe has to offer, it's better off erased. Frieza covered his mouth, laughing. Ho 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 tilde, we can agree on a single thing, monkey tilde. It's true. I can hardly even see a being superior to myself. Then again, I am the Lord, before sighing wistfully. Gohan panicked, Dad, do something. Goku looked at him, haha. The Grand Priest smiled, ready? It will last 100 tacks. Piccolo looked at Gohan, get ready, that's 48 minutes. Gohan got serious, Rifle, Bulla, come here, we need to work together. Rifle and Bulla ran over, nodding, okay, Gohan. The Grand Priest waved his hand, start. Everyone moved as Zephyr shot out towards Universe 11. He was blocked by a group of people and sneered, grabbing them by the necks and slamming them around. He jumped up and kicked out, blasting two flying before twisting and grabbing one by the ankle, swinging him out before throwing him at Universe 11. Toppo slapped them one by one out of the ring without effort. Zephyr chuckled, kicking a guy out as Toppo slapped. Someone disappeared and reappeared behind Zephyr, kicking out. He went right through him before hearing, speed. I thought rabbits were cunning, maybe purple ones are just retards. Dispo turned to Zephyr, who was behind him, smiling, really, move a little faster, bunny, as he punched out. Dispo disappeared as Zephyr chased him quickly as they both disappeared entirely. On the other side. Chapter 117, Wanna Hear a Joke? Rifle dodged around, spitting out his tongue at a rabbit girl, bleh tilde, she shouted, stop jumping around, you. She blushed, you handsome devil. Rifle was dumbfounded, what? She jumped up, Wa tilde take this. Rifle went flying and landed on his feet, pointing at himself. What did you call me? She blushed. Shut up. Rifle continued dodging until Bulla flew in, kicking the rabbit off the stage angrily. She glared at Rifle. Can you be serious? Why are you flirting with rabbits? Rifle was speechless for a moment before saying, I didn't. She called me handsome. I didn't even say anything. Bulla puffed her cheeks, crossing her arms, HMPH. Rifle punched next to her head, sending a tree person flying out. Bulla snorted, I'll forgive you this time. Rifle was dumbfounded. I didn't do anything. She turned away, HMPH. Rifles. 17 and 18 worked together, taking down the lackluster fighters from other universes. Rifle ran over and stomped on a bat attacking Caulifla, kicking him flying out of the ring as he gave her a thumbs up. She rolled her eyes. I don't need your help, jerk. Rifle blushed. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Then they were attacked by the rest of Universe 9, as Bulla joined in. Zephyr and Dispo stopped as the Grand Priest shouted, Universe 9's fighters are all out. As such, they will be erased. Xenos raised their hands, bye-bye Tilda. Before all the fighters, the god of destruction and supreme Kai of Universe 9 disappeared. Zephyr turned and looked at the stunned fighters of Universe 10. He grinned evilly and charged at them. Dispo was shocked. Watch out. They were stunned as Zephyr appeared in the middle of them with his hands on the ground as he spun his legs out, sending half of them flying off the edge before flickering, punching them out as Dispo kicked. You villain. Zephyr blocked his kick with his own. Are you serious? It's a survival game. Dispo shouted, those are lives. Zephyr chuckled, are you doubting Xeno? Dispo froze, haha, no, of course not, haha. Zephyr stomped on his face, sending him flying before turning to the rest of Universe 10, smiling, hello, Tilda. They were stunned and Zephyr walked towards them, bubbling with white globs around him occasionally. It's a shame for old Gawasu. I'd rather he now get erased at all. But Zephyr's hands twitched as he walked towards them as they shook, flying out. Rumshi was confused and looked at Kusu, who smiled in wonder. He's hitting them through time, basically, attacking instantly. Unless you can predict where he's going to hit you, you can't block it because he's hitting you in the future. Champa turned to Vados, like time skip. Vados shook her head. Looks the same, very different. He doesn't have to move. All he has to do is send his attack through time. Champa was dumbfounded. What the hell? Zephyr raised his arms and blocked Dispo as well as another Pride Trooper's attacks. He swung him out and flashed in front of the Universe 10 warriors, punching out as Dispo kicked at his back. He held a hand behind his back as he knocked the Universe 10 fighters off the stage. Universe 10 erased. Zephyr held out his hand and dug out his ear. Are you stupid or something? That purple bunny can only barely keep up with my jogging and you think you have a chance. Before Zephyr punched him in the stomach, crackling like thunder rumbling as heard at the guy went flying off the ring, landing next to Belmont. Dispo frowned, you're using time. Zephyr clapped slowly. Oh wow, you figured it out. He spoke slowly. Do you understand? Dispo's veins throbbed. I'm not an idiot. Zephyr waved his finger as Dispo flew at him, punching and kicking at super speeds. Zephyr didn't move from his spot, tilting as he dodged everything, saying, no, but you're so, Sluwa. Dispo clenched his fists and screamed, ah, before powering up, taking his speed to an entirely new level. Zephyr snickered as Dispo went through him. Zephyr appeared in front of him again. Huh, you almost hit me that time, I swear. Dispo roared angrily, attacking wildly. Topo was occupied by Vegeta. Where are you looking? You're fighting me. As he punched Topo flying, attacking him wildly. Goku looked at Jiren as he beat Hit to the ground. Goku frowned. This guy's strong. On the other side, 17 and 18 turned, blasting out fighters from Universe 2 and 4. Zephyr was fighting as he and Dispo were blasted by a yellow beam. They both pointed out, blocking it with ease as a fatty said, now, die beautifully. Dispo and Zephyr were stunned. What is this fatty saying? Dispo shook his head. I have no idea. The fatty was dumbfounded. FF fatty? I'm the most beautiful fighter in Universe 2. Zephyr and Dispo looked at her before Zephyr burst out laughing, holding his stomach. H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A. He couldn't stop laughing. H-A-H-A-H-A, you, B-A-H-H-A-H-A. He slapped his face and pointed at Ribrian. H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A. Stop, I'm gonna laugh to death. B-A-H-H-A-H-A. Ribrian froze and trembled as Beerus shouted, stop laughing and finish her off. Zephyr wiped his eyes. Ha, oh my god, are you from the joke planet? You're funny, but at most a 3 out of a billion. He sighed and pointed up. You have blue skin too, look at the angels. You don't look like any of them. You're beautiful. Anyway, I have a question for you. He held up his fists. What's the difference between my wife and other women? Ribrian was dazed. I don't know. Zephyr appeared and punched her in the face, sending her flying through her two friends, shooting out into the void in a straight line for a long time. Nothing, I beat them both. He slapped his face, ha 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 ha. Beerus' lips twitched. That's not really funny, Wise sighed. He's getting a bit too big for his britches recently. Beerus nodded. I noticed. As he pointed at Dispo, hey you. Dispo looked over in a daze, huh. Beerus nodded. Yeah, you, the purple rabbit, beat him for me, right now. Dispo was speechless as Zephyr froze. Huh, what the hell, Beerus? Beerus snorted. Your ego is too big. Even though you can't beat me or Goku or Vegeta, nah, you know what, I'm destroying you right now. Wise bonked him, please. Beerus rubbed his head angrily. Chapter 118, Gyron makes a move. Zephyr scratched his head, ego. Dispo attacked him and Zephyr dodged all his attacks, flickering backwards while thinking, is that true? He turned his wrist over, looking at the watch on the inside of his bracelet. Is that true, Launch? Launch blinked, appearing on a hologram. Tilde maybe a little. Zephyr was stunned and made a Pikachu face. Launch giggled, but I still love you. Zephyr smiled happily, yeah. The Grand Priest snapped his fingers and took away both of Zephyr's bracelets. Zephyr was stunned as the Grand Priest smiled. No calls during the match. Zephyr pouted as he ducked under Dispo. You're annoying, before punching twice. Dispo froze and trembled in the air as Zephyr walked away, snorting. The most he was able to move was lightspeed. What a shame. Dispo stayed in the air, taking a beating as Zephyr flashed, catching Hit off the arena as flames burst from his feet, blasting him back to the stage. He put him down. Hey, Hit snorted. I didn't ask for your help. Zephyr clasped his hand with Hit's, grinning. Having you out so soon doesn't feel right to me. Hit snorted with a smirk. That's like you. Zephyr pulled him up as Hit dusted himself off, looking at Gyron with a frown. That guy is seriously strong. Zephyr looked at Gyron. Even your new technique didn't work. Hit sighed and shook his head. Not even a bit. Zephyr frowned before his hair blew back. Hit and Zephyr's eyes widened as Gyron caught Dispo as he flew towards the edge of the arena. Zephyr and Hit slowly turned, looking at Gyron holding Dispo with shocked faces. Gyron put Dispo down. Take a break, Dispo. Dispo nodded. But careful, Gyron. That guy, he hasn't even used his true power yet. Gyron nodded as the other Pride troopers appeared, protecting Dispo as he recovered his strength. Gyron turned and looked at Zephyr, who felt his scalp go numb. He kicked Hit to the side as Gyron appeared, punching Zephyr in the stomach. Zephyr spat out a mouthful of blood, shooting out and slamming into the giant pillar in the middle of the arena. Zephyr hung from the pillar, coughing up blood. Ow. On the other side, Frieza was brutalizing Caulifla as Rifle burst with purple flames. Enough. Frieza rolled his eyes. We must win, little monkey. Rifle frowned. You can just throw them out. You're too cruel. Frieza snorted. What are you going to do about it? Frost, kill him. Frost appeared, snorting. Just a gh. Rifle appeared in front of Frost and burned with flames, roaring as he beat Frost senseless, elbowing him in the neck before kicking his knees in the wrong way. He grabbed Frost's neck and growled, die, before blasting him with purple flames, exploding into a fiery inferno. Rifle growled angrily, walking out of the flames towards Frieza as Beerus slapped his forehead. Idiot! The Grand Priest nodded. Contestant Rifle from Universe 7 has killed Frost from Universe 6. He is disqualified. Oh. Kale appeared in Super Saiyan, smashing Frieza into the stage and roaring with green eyes, grinning evilly. She waved and smacked Rifle, who caught her fist, punching her in the stomach, blasting out a line behind her back. Kale and Rifle started fighting as they were both getting out of control. Kale continued climbing faster and faster before slapping Rifle out of the ring, attacking everyone. Bulla clenched her fists and roared as her own Kai blazed. Rifle appeared in the stands and Beerus chopped his neck, knocking him out as he muttered, "This kid, losing his mind in anger, tusk. Wise chuckled. It seems quite a few children have this problem, Tilda. Caulifla was stunned over and over again. Kale started losing her mind, exploding with Kai as many fighters were blasted off the ring. One after another universes 4, 2, and 3 were eliminated. Vegeta was stunned and everyone stopped, looking over as Bulla trembled, breathing out steam. I will kill you. Her hair spiked wildly like a hedgehog, growing and growing as lightning crackled around her. She appeared in front of Kale and punched her in the face, flying out as Bulla caught up, slamming her fists down and making a pose. Vegeta was shocked. That's. Bulla roared, "Gallick gun?" before firing a massive purple laser as Kale blasted out a green beam. They collided in the middle, erupting into an explosion as they both charged into the smoke, punching each other wildly. The smoke exploded away as they fought each other, shattering the ring. Kale caught Bulla's fists and roared as her Kai spiked. Bulla grit her teeth and exploded with muscle, lifting Kale up. She slammed Kale down, flipping as she stomped Kale through the stage, ending up in the stands. Vegeta clicked his tongue. So close. Zephyr smashed through the pillar, landing in front of him, coughing up blood. Vegeta was stunned as he looked up, seeing Jiren standing on the pillar, looking down, HMPH. Zephyr stood up and wiped his lips. "Ha, damn alien bastard." He snorted and transformed, turning into his Big Bang state. A small child, crossed out. A powerful warrior. Zephyr spat out a glob of blood and took a stance. "Let me show you the terrifying human spirit." As he flashed out, punching Jiren in the cheek, smashing him through the pillar into the arena. Chapter 119, The Terrifying Human Will. Jiren flipped back up as Zephyr stood on the pillar now. "Come on." Jiren blasted off the ground and punched out as Zephyr blazed with speed, blocking all of Jiren's attacks, smashing through the pillar behind him. They landed on the ground as Jiren pressed Zephyr insanely fast. Zephyr coughed up blood as his arm was blasted to paste. He roared and punched Jiren in the stomach, shooting him out before blasting off the ground, tucking his legs in and stomping Jiren back into the stage before spinning and dropping his heel as Jiren raised his arm, blocking it. Zephyr flashed as Jiren waved his fist, smashing Zephyr's leg to paste. Zephyr coughed and Jiren snorted, burying his fist in Zephyr's stomach, blasting him across the arena as Frieza flashed out, kicking Zephyr into the pillar in the middle rather than off the stage. Zephyr slammed into the stone as Jiren looked at Frieza with a frown. He paused as the stone cracked. "I'm not done yet." Zephyr blasted from the stone and grinned with blood all over him. "Come on." Jiren frowned before punching out from afar. Zephyr slammed back into the pillar before walking back out. He swayed and clenched a fist, punching out as Jiren slapped the fist, kicking Zephyr back into the pillar. Zephyr coughed up blood and fell to the ground. He grabbed Jiren's ankle. "Bastard." Jiren kicked him in the face, shooting him flying as Goku caught him, putting him down on the ring. "Can't you regenerate?" Zephyr coughed and looked at space. "Why said that I shouldn't rely on my healing powers?" Goku was speechless. "You won't be able to fight the rest if you leave now. You still have to take care of most of Universe 11. Zephyr paused and said, "Give me a minute." Goku looked around and chuckled awkwardly. "I don't think we have a minute." Hit appeared. "I'll get him a minute, go Goku." Goku nodded and smiled, shooting for Jiren. Dispo and the rest of the Pride Troopers left appeared as Gohan and Piccolo appeared. Hit nodded at them, and they nodded back before transforming into their most powerful states. Ultimate Gohan. Orange Piccolo. Hit just changed his stance. They started fighting as Zephyr regenerated on the ground. The three were fighting against 6 as they managed to knock 2 out, but Hit was sent flying off the ring. Piccolo stretched his arm after him and grabbed onto Hit, pulling him back as Dispo flashed, stomping Piccolo off the ring as well. The duo appeared in the stands as Hit sighed, "Sorry." Piccolo shook his head, "I was too slow." Gohan was faced with 4 Pride Troopers and clenched his fists, "Damn," as he started fighting them while they attacked together. Gohan stepped back to the edge of the ring before blocking a kick, flying off. Suddenly, his vision changed, and he was back on the arena. Zephyr held his collar and Gohan was stunned. "Father-in-law." Zephyr smirked, throwing him out. Zephyr clenched his fists and closed his eyes as he felt a bit different. A white ribbon flashed behind his head before disappearing. His hair suddenly waved like a gentle flame as he opened his eyes. A gentle white ribbon made of flames burned behind his head, over his shoulders, and under his arms. He raised his hand as Dispo appeared there. Zephyr said lightly, "Ah, is this what Master was talking about?" before his hands multiplied, blocking all the attacks of the 4 Pride Troopers. They were stunned as Zephyr pressed out, blasting them all with a white beam, shooting them off the arena. He looked over and stepped, appearing in front of Kaba and Caulifla. They were stunned as Zephyr waved a hand. They both blasted out of the ring and into the stands as Universe 6 had no more fighters left. Champa clenched his fists before saying, "Good job, everyone." They were stunned. Champa added, "Thanks for everything, Vados." She paused. Champ turned to Beerus and shouted, "Don't think I lose to you, my stupid brother," as he was erased. Beerus snorted and turned away with a frown in silence. Wise looked at Zephyr and said, "Not bad." Piccolo asked, "What is that?" Wise smiled. "It should be the Supreme Time Kai's unique transformation. Time Unleashed, but a very basic version of it. It seems like Zephyr has realized something. Coincidentally, so has Goku." Goku flashed gray for a few moments as he dodged Giron before getting punched as the transformation disappeared. Vegeta roared, "Damn it, fuck it, I'm done with this Ultra Instinct bullshit." As his Kai exploded, his hair turned even more blue. "I am the Saiyan Prince. Damn ITALLL." It turned purple for a moment as Vegeta punched Toppo in the stomach, blasting him off the arena, smashing through the debris on the edge, sending him to the bench. He turned to Giron, clenching his fists in a new state. Blue evolved Vegeta. He fought Giron for a bit, tossing him around, but Giron punched Vegeta flying as Frieza, 17, 18, and Gohan came to fight him. Vegeta grabbed Goku and jumped back as the four others fought Giron intensely, buying time. It was literally Giron versus Universe 7. Zephyr meditated with a frown, sucking back the white god Kai into his body. Vegeta and Goku appeared next to him. "What now?" Goku clenched his fists. "We need to do something." Vegeta looked over. "There's 15 minutes left." Zephyr muttered, "I don't want to win with a timeout." Vegeta clenched his fists. "Me neither, but do we have a choice?" Goku and Zephyr frowned as Zephyr muttered, "I still have my Patara." The duo clicked their tongues. "It won't work, we're too strong for them." Zephyr scoffed, "I upgraded them." Vegeta waved, "Shut up, I want to fight him alone." Goku nodded, "Me too." Before he walked out, gray lights around him. Vegeta frowned and Zephyr said slowly, "It's not Ultra Instinct yet." Vegeta looked at him, "What?" Zephyr still had his eyes closed. "Like I said, he didn't perfect it yet. He's using Giron to pressure his own body into it." Vegeta frowned. "Now that you mention it, I felt something strange too." Before turning to Zephyr, "What's going on with you?" Zephyr frowned. "I'm trying something different. Now shut up and let me focus." Vegeta muttered, "Prick." Zephyr's lips twitched. Chapter 120, Universe 7 Victory. Goku fought Giron at full power, finally turning into perfect Ultra Instinct. He started beating Giron around, winning the fight as Giron unleashed his full power, fighting back. They became so powerful that only a few people could even see them anymore. In the end, Goku was sent flying and reverted to normal as Vegeta caught him. "Damn it, Kakarot," Goku chuckled. "Looks like I still need training." Zephyr stood up. "All right, you two recover," as he walked out, dusting his clothes off. Vegeta and Goku were stunned. Zephyr stood across from Giron, who frowned, "One after the other with you people." Zephyr snorted in amusement. "What do you mean, you people?" As he clenched his fist, "Distorted future." Zephyr morphed and hummed as he transformed. His hair grew out wildly, and his ears pointed as he visibly aged, bulking up. Giron frowned and powered up as he appeared in front of Zephyr, punching out with all his strength. Zephyr held out a finger, blocking the fist as the arena behind him was smashed into 3 floating parts. Giron was stunned. "What?" Zephyr smirked. "Heh." Wise's eyes lit up. "Oh," Beerus looked at him as Wise explained. "He seems to have tapped into a different timeline, superimposing it on himself. It's creative. He even became a Supreme Kai of Time in this future." But Beerus looked at Zephyr, squinting. "He's strong, real strong." Wise nodded. "However, it should only last around 7 more seconds." Zephyr suddenly had his knee in Giron's gut as Giron spat out blood, shooting out, bouncing off the debris and slamming into the stage. Zephyr appeared next to him and punched out, hundreds of thousands of attacks superimposed in the future nanoseconds at once. Giron blocked and flew out as Zephyr appeared in front of him, punching and kicking millions of times. Giron coughed up blood as Zephyr floated into the air, clapping his hands together. Heated end. There was a flash as the entire space they were in was deprived of moisture instantly. Zephyr appeared in his normal state. Ah! Gyron crossed his arms, no longer wearing a shirt as everything around him was simply gone. Everyone was confused as Wise sighed. So close, just half a second short. What a shame! Gyron jumped out and punched Zephyr in the face, shooting him through the pillar. Goku and Vegeta shot over, fighting Gyron together as he shouted, "Enough of you!" While punching them flying, "Ah!" He powered up again as Goku said in shock, "He's not finished." Gyron growled, "I have no limits." As he appeared in front of them, punching faster than Dispo. Goku and Vegeta struggled to fight back, nailing Gyron in the face a few times. Gyron stumbled back but turned back to them, punching out with intense rage. Vegeta was blasted off the stage. Gyron turned his palm to Goku and blasted him, destroying the arena. Goku hung on the edge as Gyron stomped, snapping the edge off. Zephyr appeared under Goku and stomped on Goku's feet, shooting him back up as he fell into the stands next to Vegeta. He laid there upside down. "Ow!" Vegeta frowned and shouted, "Come on, Kakarot." Goku fought with Gyron, struggling wildly until Frieza appeared, blasting down a death ball. "Ghhha, it's over." Gyron slapped the death ball away with great difficulty. "Frieza." Goku grabbed Gyron, locking him up. "Come on, Frieza." Frieza shot over and smashed into them, knocking them all off the stage. Gyron was dumbfounded as he watched the stage get farther and farther. "No!" Before landing in the stands. 17, 18, and Gohan got up from under the rubble, wiping their sweat. The Grand Priest smiled, "And that is it. The tournament is over. Universe 7 has won." He appeared in front of Universe 11, now disappear, as they were all erased. 17 looked at the other two, who waved. He nodded and turned back. "Bring them back." The Grand Priest was startled. "What?" 17 looked at him. "That's my wish. Bring him back. You can do that, right?" The Grand Priest smiled. "Of course. No wish is above Super Shenron's powers." They summoned Super Shenron, and the Grand Priest made the wish as all the destroyed universes came back. They were stunned and left quickly before Zeno changed his mind. Wise brought everyone back to Earth while reviving Frieza himself. Then he took Frieza back to his planet. 17 left, 18 went back home to Krillin, Piccolo flew off, Bulla and Rifle went to go play, and Gohan waved, heading home as well. Zephyr walked to Bulma. "Man, I am starving." Vegeta snorted. "What was that?" Zephyr chuckled. "Heh, wouldn't you like to know Tilda?" Goku looked up and sighed. "That Gyron sure was strong." Zephyr started eating, digging a fist in the trail mix and throwing handfuls into his mouth while munching on a cow leg, scooping rice into his mouth. "Ah, this is awesome." Bulma rolled her eyes. Launch and Kai Kai were cooking so. Zephyr's eyes lit up and he started eating everything. "Yum." Goku and Vegeta ran over. "Damn it, save some?" Zephyr laughed. Everything went back to normal for a time. Chapter 121, Never-Ending Troubles. An entire year passed. Zephyr was fighting a giant guy. "Come on, Broly, get serious." Broly snorted and went Super Saiyan as they continued fighting intensely. Zephyr started sweating as he turned into his newest state. Super Big Bang. As they were fighting here, Goku and Vegeta were taken to Galactic Patrol HQ. They followed Maris and became honorary Galactic Patrol members. The time passed as a week, and a bit went by. Zephyr and Broly were eating as Zephyr pointed at something. "Oh, try that. That's pretty good." Broly looked over and ate before saying, "Good." Zephyr grinned and continued eating. "That's great. This planet is a real shithole." As he laughed, he paused and looked out into space. "Huh, what the fuck is that?" Broly looked at him. Zephyr narrowed his eyes. "There's a super powerful guy on New Namek. What the hell?" Broly paused. "Super powerful? More powerful than your distorted future." Zephyr muttered, "Depends which one," as he held out his hand. Broly grabbed it and they both disappeared. Zephyr and Broly appeared on Namek, seeing a goat person. Zephyr frowned. "Who the fuck are you supposed to be? The Jersey Devil?" Maro looked up and grinned. "2 more delicious morsels." Zephyr was creeped out. You're disgusting man." Moro attacked, and the duo jumped back quickly as Moro turned up his hand, engulfing Zephyr in a pillar of magma from planet Namek. Moro turned to Broly. Unfortunate to lose one, but alas. Broly crossed his arms and sneered, using fire against Zephyr, you stupid. Moro was confused as Zephyr burst from the pillar of magma, punching Moro in his SBB state. Moro shot through a mountain and Zephyr flicked the magma off him. That was weird. Moro appeared behind him and Zephyr flickered behind him, kicking Moro in the neck, going right through him. Zephyr was confused. What? Moro chuckled by his ear. You're not fast enough. Zephyr snorted. I will not be mocked by a goat. As he exploded with white flames, attacking Moro quickly. Moro blocked all his punches and kicks until Zephyr fainted and knocked Moro in the chin, scattering a few teeth. Moro felt around his mouth and spat out another one, kicking out as Zephyr spat out blood, shooting back. Broly was stunned and attacked Moro, turning into his Super Saiyan state. Moro frowned and Broly punched him in the head, blasting him flying before appearing behind him and slamming him down. He flashed under Moro and kicked up as Moro flicked his wrist. Broly went flying with a confused face. Moro turned his hand up as magma burst out. Broly rolled to the side before shooting at Moro, who smirked, turning his hand down, slamming Broly into the ground. Broly grit his teeth angrily. Rah! He started pushing himself off the ground as Moro was startled. What? Zephyr appeared in front of Moro, shooting at him with his foot out. Moro tried to move, but he was in slow motion as Zephyr kicked him in the mouth, shooting him out like a bolt of lightning. Zephyr came to Broly. You all right? Broly let out a breath and nodded. Zephyr let out a breath, looking up with a frown. Who is this guy? As lights started shooting into space. Zephyr held Broly and teleported into the edge of the atmosphere. Broly couldn't breathe in space, yet they looked over at Vegeta and Goku. The group got together as Broly nodded. Goku. Vegeta. The duo nodded at him, looking at Zephyr. What's going on? Zephyr waved. I was training with Broly. Who is that goat guy? Also, who is that pink dude? Goku gave him the details and Zephyr was dumbfounded. The pink guy is Boo, but also the Grand Supreme Kai. And that goat is Moro, a wizard. Broly looked blank. He didn't get it at all. Zephyr was shocked. How can a goat be a wizard? Goku blinked and Vegeta cursed. Is that what you're focusing on? Idiot. A ship came over and they all got in as a dude looked at Zephyr and Broly. Who are these guys? Goku explained quickly as Maris frowned. Is that so? Well, we'll need all the help we can get. The Grand Supreme Kai doesn't have enough power to seal Moro again. Vegeta snorted. Gimmick powers like that never get the job done anyway. It was always going to be brute force that takes down this guy. Goku frowned. I think Vegeta's right. Maris looked at them. Are you sure you're more powerful than Moro? Goku and Vegeta nodded as Maris put on a spacesuit. Go to the planet, I'll drag him down. Before flying out into space. Zephyr watched him go. Did you forget to tell him that we can breathe in space? Everyone was silent as they watched Maris rush out. Goku and Vegeta were silent for a few moments before saying slowly, Yep. There was an awkward silence as the spaceship went down to Namek. Chapter 122, Fruits of Zephyr's Labor. Zephyr coughed and clenched his fists. All right, let's fight Moro on Namek since we can't breathe in space, right guys? Vegeta rolled his eyes. You can't bring back the atmosphere, stop trying. Goku chuckled as they all got out of the ship, looking up into space. The ship flew back up as Moro appeared on the planet with the Grand Supreme Kai. The four of them looked at Moro. You ready for a real fight? Moro scoffed. A bunch of trash, no matter how many of you there are. Also, I seem to have you outnumbered, right? As he flew into the sky. A giant ship appeared as prisoners from the Galactic Patrol appeared. Moro landed on the ship and looked at one man, Saganbo. Well done. As promised, I will share my power with you all. Heh. There was a flash as hundreds of prisoners jumped down onto Namek. Zephyr was dumbfounded. What the fuck? Goku and Vegeta frowned as Broly took a stance. Zephyr passed around a bag as Vegeta, Goku, Broly, and the Grand Supreme Kai ate a handful. Zephyr snapped his fingers as the bag disappeared. He turned into his SBB state saying, Are these guys now? Goku said, prisoners. Zephyr clicked his tongue, annoying. As they all started fighting against the army of prisoners. But their energy was drained by Moro while they were fighting. Goku shouted, Zephyr, don't you have a future where you're stronger than this? Zephyr panted, I can only go for 1 second in that future. Goku shouted, then do it. Zephyr frowned and put his hands together. Distorted future 1982. Zephyr growled and roared as purple energy burst from him. His patara were changed to gold clasps, and his clothes changed into something similar to Beerus. He held his hands out. Destruction. The prisoners in front of him turned to sand before Zephyr reverted to normal, blinking. Aha, not even a second. The rest were dumbfounded, as there was a massive canyon of nothingness in front of them. Zephyr sat down, panting heavily, reverting to his normal form. A streak of white appeared in his black hair. He ate handfuls of trail mix, but the streak didn't disappear at all. He looked fine, though. Maris appeared and shot at the prisoners, shouting, "What the hell was that?" Goku didn't answer. "What do we do now?" Maris grit his teeth. "We have to retreat. Beating Moro now is impossible." He turned. "Grand Supreme Kai, take the Namekian to Galactic Patrol HQ." The Grand Supreme Kai nodded and turned to Goku. "Can you use instant transmission?" Goku collapsed, but Broly said, "Zephyr can use Kai. Maris looked at Zephyr in surprise before his eyes widened. "What happened to you?" Zephyr blinked. I feel fine. Why?" Maris shook his head. "Forget it. We need to leave. Do you know where Galactic HQ is?" Zephyr was stunned. "No." Goku grabbed him. "Here, the Galactic King." Zephyr held his hands out and grabbed Maris and Broly. Maris grabbed Jocko as Vegeta frowned, flying off. "We'll part ways here, Kakarot." As he burst with speed, shooting after the escaping Galactic Patrol ship. Goku shouted, "Vegeta," before Maris shouted, "Now, leave." Zephyr looked at Vegeta and teleported to the Galactic King's bathroom. They informed him of the problems and Zephyr looked at Broly. "You want to go home?" Broly nodded. Jocko stopped him. "Wait." They looked at him as he said, "There's a chance these guys go to Earth. Let Broly come with me to Earth just in case." Zephyr looked at Broly, who scratched his head, frowning. "I'm hungry." Jocko jumped. "I'll feed you, no problem." Broly looked at Zephyr and said, "Okay then." Zephyr nodded at him and waved as Broly left with Jocko. Goku looked at Maris. "You train me." Maris blinked before nodding. "Okay." Zephyr walked into a room and looked at the sleeping Boo. He poked him before opening up Boo's mouth, pouring desserts and candies down, along with a few pounds of senzu bean trail mix. Boo jumped up. "Boo's full again. Yippee." Zephyr smiled at him. "Can I talk to the Grand Supreme Kai, Boo?" Boo slapped his stomach. "Okay." As he morphed into the Grand Supreme Kai, who looked at him, "You should want me to train you, correct?" Zephyr was stunned. How the Grand Supreme Kai smiled. "I can still hear while Boo is asleep. I lost my god power when evil Boo was destroyed, but I can still teach you." Zephyr let out a breath, nodding seriously. Then Zephyr started training with the Grand Supreme Kai. Goku trained with Maris. Vegeta was on Yardrat. Everyone was training hard in preparation for Moro. The Grand Supreme Kai looked at Zephyr and walked around him, touching the streak of white hair. Zephyr sat with his legs crossed. The Grand Supreme Kai smiled. "As I suspected. That little lady is still as careless as ever." Zephyr froze. Master." The Grand Supreme covered his mouth and chuckled. "She's a master now, is she? It seems not that long ago she was training under me." Zephyr was dumbfounded. "What?" Chapter 123. A completely new Zephyr. The Grand Supreme Kai waved. "Needless to say, she is still careless. However, you're not too bad yourself. You're training to be the next Supreme Kai? Have you tied your fate with the next destroyer yet?" Zephyr shook his head and the Grand Supreme Kai nodded. "That's good." The Grand Supreme Kai smiled. "Otherwise you would have both disappeared by now." Zephyr was stunned as the Grand Supreme Kai explained. "Yes, that new form you have, at first, doesn't actually suit your body. I'm sure Cronoa taught you how to unleash time like herself. What she didn't predict was that your human body is different from a Kai's body." Zephyr asked, "Does that mean that humans and Kais can't reproduce?" The Grand Supreme Kai had question marks all over his head and Zephyr coughed. "I was curious," he replied. "They can. Most races can reproduce with other humanoid races in our universe, barring a sparse few. But even Kai are within the majority anyways." He coughed and continued. "That new form of yours, Super Big Bang, is it? By simulating a Big Bang inside yourself, since you're immune to heat, or rather, heat itself, then the explosion is no problem. It can boost all your abilities by a large margin, of course. He smiled, waving a finger. Do you think you're invincible? Your muscles, bones, and skin are incredibly hard, nearly as hard as the hardest metal in the universe. But your organs are not. Every time you transform, you're damaging your insides, completely smashing them to paste. You can only live because of your regeneration, however. That's also a reason why your regeneration is so slow. He turned. I watched the Tournament of Power. It only took a minute to regenerate because you're constantly regenerating your organs. Your own time-based abilities are very good. Kicking someone's past or tapping into another timeline is very strong, however, like the previous problem. He made an explosion in his hands. This is you. Every time you transform, you are basically exploding before turning into the next form. You are not a Saiyan, you aren't supposed to transform. The fact that you can is already a miracle. This is one of the reasons why your transformations are so short and why your regeneration is so slow, but the real problem is that. He pointed at the white streak. Your lifespan was permanently reduced and damaged from you tapping into a timeline where you became a god of destruction. If you keep using this power, no matter how many magic beans you eat, you will die. He paused and smiled. Perhaps you'll even turn into a new star. Zephyr was dumbfounded. A star? The Grand Supreme Kai chuckled and waved. It's not quite important, but luckily, there's a solution. Spirit control. Basically, because that brat fed you the universe seed without thinking, your Kai reserves are so massive that if they exploded, they can wipe out everything in a radius of 5 galaxies. But as it stands now, you can't even use them because your control over your Kai is horrible. The Grand Supreme Kai tapped on Zephyr's head. You can prevent Kai from leaking, yes. A simple thing. However, your control over Kai is really bad. No doubt something that little lady forgot to teach you. However, I can teach you, but we have to start from the basics all over again. You went too far down the wrong path. He touched Zephyr and disappeared. They appeared in a blank space as the Grand Supreme Kai nodded. This will do. Mara will attack the Earth in 2 months. Broly can't fight them all himself. This place will turn 2 months into 2 years, more than enough time to train from scratch. Throughout the whole process, you will have to hone your spirit at the same time. I'll teach you everything. 2 months passed. The fighters on Earth were fighting the convicts with the Galactic Patrol as Moro watched Saganbo fighting against Gohan and Rocket. Gohan was sent flying as Rocket kicked Saganbo, who grabbed her leg, slamming her into the ground, stepping on her chest. Just patiently become Lord Moro's snack. Rocket spit in his face. Daddy's gonna kill you when he comes back. Moro scoffed. The human that can turn into a god of destruction? What a farce. Last time he did that, he nearly emptied out his lifespan, ha. A fool who can't even control his power, what's the use? Sagambo grinned and raised a fist, punching at Rocket's face. Just sleep tight, sweet cheeks. Suddenly, a 12-year-old appeared, holding Sagambo's fist with a finger, floating in the air. He had flowing white fire for hair, a white flame ribbon, and an outfit eerily similar to the Supreme Time Kai. Who else but Zephyr? Although his eyes were still pink this time. He muttered, sweet cheeks, what era are you from? I got goosebumps listening to it. Rocket's eyes lit up. Daddy. Zephyr smiled at her. Need a hand? Rocket blushed in embarrassment. Zephyr turned to Sagambo. Hey, buddy. That's my daughter you're stepping on, you know? His hair boiled a reddish color as he turned back. All right, get up, Rocket. All the fighters were dumbfounded as Sagambo collapsed backwards with white eyes. Zephyr helped Rocket up and looked up at her, pouting. Rocket patted his head, giggling. You're so cute, Daddy. Is this what you looked like when you were young? Zephyr scratched his cheek. Something like that. Maro pointed at Sagambo, smirking. Sagambo got back up, frothing at the mouth. Zephyr looked at Rocket. You should hurry up and give me more grandchildren. You know, your mom already gave birth again. Have you even gone to see your new sister? Rocket pointed behind him. Zephyr knocked behind him as Sagambo blasted off with his arms snapped in the wrong direction, sighing, I'm talking to my daughter, Moro. Knock it off. Moro frowned as he turned his finger up. Zephyr turned around and turned his finger down. Moro was stunned. What? Zephyr looked at him indifferently. Just magic, right? Look, I'm a magician too. As he pointed, turning his finger up. Moro froze as a massive pillar exploded under him into the sky, blasting away the clouds. Zephyr turned back and looked at the rest. You guys should leave. Rocket was worried. But Daddy, a laser pierced through Zephyr's chest, and he looked down before looking back up. Anyway, like I was saying, it's better for you guys to go. Bulma is watching on Kami's lookout right now. You can go spectate from there. As his wound disappeared instantly, even his clothes went back to normal. They were dumbfounded as Goku and the Grand Supreme Kai appeared. Chapter 124, His brain was fried when he was born. Wise. Goku looked at Zephyr and pouted. Wait, why do you go first? Zephyr crossed his arms. I got here first. Goku sulked as Zephyr walked out, snapping his fingers. All the dust and smoke disappeared as Maro was revealed, relatively unharmed. He glared at Zephyr and muttered, So you're the Grand Supreme Kai student? That makes sense. He turned his finger up as Zephyr was blasted with the Earth's magma. It disappeared as Zephyr dusted himself off, saying flatly, Maybe it'll work next time. Moro clicked his tongue as Zephyr punched forward, appearing in front of Moro instantly as Moro caught his fist. Zephyr looked at him flatly. Well, I've never seen a goat catch my punch before. Moro frowned. What's a go? Zephyr kicked him in the chin and shot him into the sky. He pressed his hand out and fired a ray of scorching white energy. Goku was shocked. Whoa, spirit control? The Grand Supreme Kai smiled in satisfaction. He's a very quick learner. He glanced at Goku, muttering, He has to be after all. Goku's lips twitched and he rubbed his head. Ha, before waving at the rest, you guys go to Bulma, we'll take it from here. Satan ran over. Oh, Boo, you're back. I won't let those punks kidnap you again. As he hugged the Grand Supreme Kai, who smiled happily and hugged Satan, patting his back, thanks. Moro pointed out as Zephyr held out his palm, pulling back. The energy from Zephyr's body froze and came back to him. Moro frowned and Zephyr added, Though, I can just move faster, it's a bit boring. Plus, you're not a god, you know what that means. Moro frowned and Zephyr pressed out on the void, turning his hand. Moro froze and flew backwards, smashing back into the ground before getting back up in reverse. Zephyr curled his lips, ha-ha. Wise appeared and grabbed his wrist, smiling, Zephyr. Zephyr was stunned. Oh, sorry, I got carried away. Wise nodded and let go. Don't reverse time too much. A few seconds is fine, minutes is okay once in a millennia, years will get yourself erased by my father. Zephyr was stunned. Really? Wise nodded and educated him on the time laws for angels as the entire universe was frozen. The Grand Priest appeared, smiling, good. Also, Zephyr. Zephyr looked up as the Grand Priest looked at him with his hands behind his back. Although you can only use that timeline's power for a mere instant, you will erase yourself if you fight in that form. Zephyr was stunned. What, really? The Grand Priest nodded. You can do anything except fight with that timeline's powers. Zephyr pouted. Then there's no use, but I can use the other one, right? The Grand Priest nodded and smiled. Not too much, though. Before disappearing. Wise smiled at Zephyr. You remember, right? Zephyr nodded and sighed. There's so many laws. Wise bonked him for good measure. There's a reason. You can rupture time and space so badly that all the timelines will converge and create a whole new universe. He bonked him again. It's not cool, it's very bad and dangerous. Don't get any ideas. Zephyr was stunned, rubbing his head. I didn't even think of it yet. Wise rolled his eyes. Okay, see you, as time resumed. Moro got up. What was that? Time manipulation? Zephyr looked at him and muttered, I almost forgot you existed. Moro's lips twitched and Zephyr took a stance. Okay, this time I'll beat you to death. Before he could do anything, Goku shot over, exploding with strength in his new form, Ultra Instinct Sign. Goku and Moro started fighting intensely, as Zephyr had a gust of wind blow by him. Zephyr! Zephyr stomped and shouted angrily, What the hell, son? Goku! Goku laughed. You just took so long, I can't help it. Come on, Zephyr, please, please. Zephyr's hair turned reddish from anger, steaming. He brushed his hair and took a couple deep breaths. Calm down, if you erase him, you'll be erased. Of course, you had to ignore the fact that he couldn't erase Goku anyway. Anyway. Zephyr crossed his arms and snorted, HMPH. Goku grinned and turned back to Moro, who was red with anger from being played with. He charged at Goku, exploding with Kai. Goku continued fighting with Moro for a while, until he finally collapsed. Zephyr clapped his hands. Okay? As he jumped out, kicking Moro in the stomach, sending him flying. Zephyr appeared behind him and kicked him into the air. Moro turned and punched as Zephyr phased to the side, punching Moro in the stomach, making him curl up like a shrimp and spit out blood. Wise and Maris were watching through Wise's staff. Maris was stunned. Huh. Wise looked at him and chuckled. He phased from a different reality. You're not catching on? Maris blushed. Ah, sorry. Can you explain it, brother? Wise turned back. In one reality he was punched in the face, but in another one he wasn't. He jumped from one to the next. Maris scratched his head. Isn't that against the rules? Wise shook his head. It's not, that's a future that hasn't happened yet. Maris looked at Wise. So, he can simulate ultra instinct? Wise smiled meaningfully. Well. Zephyr phased again, but was still punched in the face, shooting into the ground. Maris looked at Wise, who raised a finger. There are countless realities that he can choose from. This technique is quite good. The weakness is that if he doesn't choose the right one, he will fail. Also, if the opponent can predict where he'll be, he can still counter. If I can predict 5 seconds into the future, but you can predict 10 seconds in the future no matter where I move, you'll know but I won't. Maris nodded with a shocked face. Wow, Zephyr's brain is probably fried. Wise chuckled, maybe. Chapter 125, Moro defeated. Zephyr got up and pressed on his nose, snorting out blood before flashing into the sky. Moro pressed his hand out as Zephyr dissipated into light, flashing around Moro, whose eyes darted around before punching behind him. Zephyr was punched through the chest and dissipated as Moro was stomped back into the ground from behind. Zephyr flashed and condensed a Kamehameha that looked like a mini white sun. He turned and pumped out a beam as Moro swallowed it whole. Zephyr was stunned, raising his brows. You can do that. Moro stopped in the air and licked his snout. Of course, not a bad snack, runt. Zephyr frowned. That shouldn't be possible. Moro sneered. Huh? Zephyr nodded. That's what I thought. Moro expanded 5 times bigger before he coughed up a bunch of blood and pieces of his insides. Even his pores started leaking blood as he glared at Zephyr. What did you do? As he dove down, grabbing Zephyr's face, slamming him into the ground. Zephyr appeared behind Moro, kicking him in the neck, shooting him through a mountain in the distance as he replied. My Kamehameha in particular, well, there's a reason it looks like a sun. The fusion of Chi particles both from my body and not, I'm basically making a sun in my hands. If you disrupt the balance, of course it'll explode. Moro appeared and wiped the blood off him, frowning at Zephyr, who said flatly, I have to say, I'm honestly surprised you're still alive. You had a supernova go off in your body after all. Moro snorted, Don't embarrass yourself. It's at most the level of a white dwarf stellar flare. Zephyr was really shocked. You know that? Moro smirked. Kid, I have eaten more suns and the like than stars in the sky. Zephyr's eyeballs nearly rolled out and ran away. What kind of concept is this? This guy just implied that he ate a white dwarf. Hello. Zephyr shook his head and let out a breath, suppressing his shock, taking a stance. Well, come on, Mr. Sun Eater. Moro attacked as Zephyr moved at light speed, blocking and attacking. He kicked out, but Moro blocked him, shutting him off from the past. Moro said flatly, That won't work. Zephyr frowned. Everyone has their pasts blocked. What a treat, as he punched through Moro, making him freeze as he seemed to lag, appearing right in front of Zephyr's fist. Moro was stunned. What? As he sprayed blood shooting out. Zephyr let out a breath and closed his eyes, calming down. He hovered in the sky with his fists clenched, letting out a cloud of white smoke. He opened his eyes again, punching up before shooting with his elbow. Moro appeared, blocking the attacks as he growled, What did you do to me? Zephyr didn't answer, as he continued fighting in silence. The Grand Supreme Kai watching clicked his tongue, frowning. Still not ready for that, Zephyr. Maris looked at Wise, who looked surprised. Oh, it seems that Zephyr actually hit Moro into the future. Maris was stunned and confused as Beerus fished, his ears twitching as he listened. Wise explained, the first punch was when he went through Moro here. He stopped the video and then added, he forced Moro to time skip forward a split second so that he could hit him with the same punch, a double contact. Maris looked at Wise with his jaw hanging. You can do that. Wise smiled. It seems so, but this also took a massive toll on Zephyr's stamina. He's currently running on fumes. Even his motor mouth is out of gas. He regulated his emotions, but forcing someone as powerful as Morrow to time skip takes a lot of energy from him, it seems. Wise was actually extremely surprised by this. Zephyr made leaps and bounds of progress with the Grand Supreme Kai. He wondered if he made a mistake sending Zephyr to Cronoa in the first place. Zephyr continued fighting with Morrow, who realized, "You're running on fumes now, eh? Hess. I guess that trick took a lot out of you. Unfortunately, your gamble didn't pay out." Morrow sped up and battered Zephyr, who protected himself with his arms and legs, frowning slightly. Zephyr paused and tucked in his legs, kicking out suddenly, stunning Morrow, who stumbled back. Zephyr flashed to the ground as Vegeta appeared. Zephyr wiped his lips. "I lost too." Vegeta dusted his shoulder, smirking, Of course. Leave it to me, the Prince of Saiyans, to save the day, as per usual. Ah." Goku and Zephyr's lips twitched as Zephyr turned to Goku. "I have some Senzu bean trail mix. Want another turn?" Goku grinned. "Okay." Vegeta froze and shot out in his blue evolved form. He punched Morrow before flying out. He shot back and continued beating Morrow senseless, no matter how many times he was slammed into the ground or knocked away. Turns out Vegeta had a purpose. Getting beat by the enemy again. Morrow spat out the energy he stole as Vegeta grinned. "Yes, forced spirit fission. Now spit out everything you stole and fight me with your own powers, eh?" As he started beating Morrow. Just like he used to be. Morrow reverted to his older form, but not decrepit. Piccolo appeared next to Zephyr and Goku as Zephyr reverted to normal, looking like a 16-year-old again. Piccolo looked at Vegeta and said, "Did you ever believe that Vegeta could grow this much?" Goku chuckled. "Nah, I didn't expect him to learn a new move or get this strong." Piccolo frowned. "I'm talking about how much he's grown as a person." Zephyr yawned. "As a person, you were evil once too, kid." Piccolo's lips twitched as Goku chuckled while Piccolo retorted, "I mean the first time we met this guy, he came to destroy the Earth. Now he's fighting to protect the planet. More than that, it's like he's trying to atone for his sins. Like the mass slaughter on Namek or the terrible things he did as a part of Frieza's army." Piccolo looked serious. "I think he wants a clean slate after saving the universe from Morrow." Zephyr held his hands behind his head, grinning. "He did start a family, spend decades on Earth, save the universe over and over again. I'd say he's in the positives now." Tilda, Goku smiled and nodded. "Yeah." Zephyr paused before frowning. "Wait a minute." Goku looked at him as Zephyr furrowed his brows. "If Vegeta got stronger than you but I lost to Morrow, does that mean he's stronger than us?" "No, wait, I fought Morrow for longer at full power and he's making Morrow weaker, plus he was getting his ass handed to him before." Zephyr relaxed and smiled. "Yeah, I'm the strongest now, Tilda Hech." Goku furrowed his brows. "Huh, I don't think so." Zephyr looked at him and frowned. "Are you stupid or something? You lasted 4 minutes and 36.321 seconds. I lasted 4 minutes and 37.981 seconds. Goku pointed at him. "That's not true." Zephyr was dumbfounded. "What?" Goku said. "You made that up." Zephyr retorted. "I did not." Goku shouted. "If I said you made it up, you made it up." Zephyr was speechless. Vegeta looked over. "Jocko, end him or what?" Jocko appeared and shouted. "Yeah, finish him. Broly got everyone else." Broly walked over. "Yeah, I'm done here." He looked at Zephyr and smiled. "Come by when you want, okay?" Zephyr smiled happily. "Sure, I can bring you a friend next time." Broly blinked. "Huh, okay." The Grand Supreme Kai took Broly home before coming back. Morrow sneered and burst the magma from the ground before escaping to his ship. Everyone was stunned as Morrow's Kai came back stronger than ever before. Chapter 126. Morrow comes back stronger than ever. Vegeta slammed into the ground. "Ah, what the fuck, seriously." Morrow floated down in front of everyone in a completely new form. Piccolo shouted, "You absorbed 7-3. Morrow clenched his fist. "Now I'm stronger than I ever was before. Not only that, but I have his abilities as well. Ha ha ha." Zephyr was dumbfounded. The artificial life form, part of Saganbo's galactic bandit crew, that can copy someone's abilities by touching their neck for 30 minutes, named 7-3 or OG-73I? Jocko looked at him speechlessly. "Expositing now." Zephyr looked serious. "I've never seen this dude, so now people can look him up. It was either me or you." Jocko sighed. "What a hero," before Zephyr cursed. but you have got to be fucking kidding me, right? This asshole can just fucking absorb people now? Since when was that a power you have? He pointed at Moro. You're cheating. Moro rolled his eyes. Shut up. Zephyr pouted. Asshole. Moro appeared behind them and grabbed Vegeta by the neck. By the way, I should mention, I don't have a pesky time limit. They were all shocked as they started fighting in as a group. Moro handled them all with ease, even punching through Goku's chest, putting a hole in him. Gohan arrived and started fighting with Piccolo, Dad. As his Kai spiked as Moro blocked him, kicking him flying, hef. It seems that Saiyans get an energy boost when angry. No matter. The more powerful, the more delicious. In a few short seconds, all of them were laying on the ground. Only Jocko was standing there, shaking. Then Maris appeared. He started fighting with Moro, using a staff. Zephyr, Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan all appeared around Dend as the Grand Supreme Kai flew over with senzu beans. Huh. Dend nodded at him, starting to heal people. The Grand Supreme Kai said, heal Zephyr first. Dend healed Zephyr, who woke up, sucking in air. Holy fuck, why didn't I regenerate? The Grand Supreme Kai sighed, forced spirit fission. Zephyr frowned. What a bastard. As he threw out the back of trail mix, Dend healed everyone before they ate a few handfuls of trail mix. Zephyr took the bag and added a few more ingredients before eating and passing it around again. There's cut-up fruits of might in there, around 1,000,000 little tiny pieces. It won't multiply your strength, but a boost should be possible. They all surged, getting a bit stronger than before. Piccolo looked at Zephyr. Why? Zephyr frowned. Because the fruit of the tree of might doesn't affect gods very well. It only really tastes good after you get to a certain strength. It is basically fruit for gods. If they can still get stronger after eating it, then what's the problem with Xeno? Right. They understood, and Zephyr added, also, there's cut-up dried Yema fruit pieces, another god fruit. It's pretty good. I think this batch tastes better than before. Goku nodded. Oh, it's delicious. The Grand Supreme Kai had some. Yummy. Dend muttered, is it that good? Before his Kai multiplied by 1,000 times. He was dumbfounded, looking around in shock. Zephyr patted his head, laughing. Yeah, that's what happens to mortals basically. Goku flew out quickly as Vegeta wiped his lips. That's a significant Zenkai boost. Zephyr mumbled, must be nice. Vegeta rolled his eyes. A massive pillar exploded over in the distance. Zephyr rested a hand on his one bent knee, letting his leg dangle off the cliff as he toasted the air. Goodbye, Maris. Congrats, Goku, before drinking from the wine pot and tossing it to Vegeta. The pillar cleared as everything turned peaceful. Vegeta and Zephyr looked at Goku with silver hair. They clicked their tongues and drank sullenly as Goku effortlessly beat Moro so badly he started feeling immense fear and horror. As a last struggle, Moro shouted, Know this, I do not fear divine power. I am Moro, consumer of worlds. The gods' creations are mine to devour. I am this galaxy's supreme life form. As magma started shooting out of the ground. Goku knocked him into a pillar as Moro fell to the ground before Goku kicked him again. Moro muttered, help me, please, don't kill me. Goku paused and said, hey, Jocko. The Galactic Patrol sentenced him to death, right? Jocko nodded and clenched his fists. Yeah, so if you call A. Goku tore off the part of his gi that Jocko drew the Galactic Patrol logo on. Then, I'll fight him as an Earthling from now on. He clenched his fist as the rock covering Moro turned to sand and Goku disappeared. Zephyr held up the trail mix bag as Goku grabbed it. Can you fix the earth too? Zephyr pointed at the ground as the magma returned and the ground sealed itself, smoothing out into a long stretch of flatland. Goku smiled, thanks, Zeph. Zephyr nodded. Yeah. Goku disappeared, looking at Moro. I'll spare you if you agree to go back to the galactic prison and promise not to break out again. Moro nodded. Yeah, I swear it, you'll never hear trouble from me again. Goku flicked a handful of trail mix at him, rolling it into a ball. Eat it. It will instantly restore you to full. Then Jocko will escort you back to prison. Moro put it in his mouth and chewed before swallowing. OOH. His chest exploded with power as he was instantly healed completely. And then some. He even became more powerful than before. But only by a little bit. Chapter 127, The End of Moro. Goku looked at him, and now you'll keep your promise. Moro grinned. Naturally, I'm grateful, Goku, but I'm afraid I'm not going anywhere. At least not until, he attacked while laughing wildly, you die by my hand, ahahahahah. Goku's chest twitched as Moro shattered his own wrist just punching him. Moro screamed in pain. Goku looked at him and said, "You're just a sneaky coward. At your current strength, you could never beat me." He reverted to normal and squatted. "Have you ever even trained?" Moro grit his teeth. "I have not. Obviously," Goku replied. "You might have wound up being even stronger if you just trained instead of eating planets and stealing lives." Moro hissed, "Silence, training is a crutch for the weak." Goku sighed. "That's a real shame, cuss. I never came across anyone as strong as you. If you were a decent guy, I'd love to fight you again after you went through some training." Jocko shouted, "Goku," he went back on his word. "Stop expecting a magical change of heart and end him already." Goku looked back. "I will, just let me talk to him a little." Moro screamed, damn it all, to think I'd be brought down by a tribe that emerged only a few million years ago." Goku looked at him sadly. "Moro, you'll never enjoy freedom again. Let me ask you one more time. Will you come quietly and go to prison or not? Which is it? I need an answer." Moro got up. "I will never return to the galactic prison. In fact, I'll continue to consume planets as I please." Goku sighed, very upset. "Okay, well, you leave me no choice, because I promised Maris that I'd protect this galaxy." Moro looked at him. "Maris, who was that agent, really?" Goku looked away. "A teacher of mine," as he transformed into Ultra Instinct again. Moro replied, "Interesting, so he could use that technique as well?" Goku looked at him. "Yeah." He sucked over a hand that had copied Maris' abilities before, putting it on. "That's great. Ha 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 ha, I'd love to try that." He touched his forehead, and the gem had a picture of Maris in it, as Moro grinned evilly. They started fighting before Goku flew off, as a shockwave nearly burst the earth. Zephyr and Vegeta had their hair ruffled by the shockwaves as they drank. Suddenly, Zephyr frowned and Vegeta shouted, "Fly, damn it!" Everyone flew up as Zephyr looked at Vegeta. "Go!" Vegeta nodded and flew out as Zephyr transformed, holding his hands out at the earth, frowning. White Kai dots floated out from his hands, submerging into the earth itself. He started sweating. "Master!" The Grand Supreme Kai shook his head. "I can't help you, Zephyr. I don't have my god powers anymore, you have to do it alone." Zephyr cursed, "Fuck," before teleporting over. Moro was fused with the earth, looking like a giant melted into the soil as Vegeta punched the ground, using the forced spirit fission technique. Zephyr held his hands out. "Ha!" Steam burst from his body as he became the Supreme Kai from a different timeline. The white dots surged, submerging into the earth, stopping Moro from continuing to fuse. Vegeta shouted, "Keep it up, Kakarot has to destroy the crystal." Zephyr shouted, "I'm trying. Goku, you have exactly 34 seconds before I turn back to normal." Goku nodded. "You guys got it," as he flew towards Moro, who stopped him with hands from the earth. Zephyr burst into a cold sweat before shouting, "Master, UUB, Geo get UUB." The rest landed behind Vegeta. "You can give our Kai to Goku, right?" Vegeta looked at them. "What you?" "Yes." Vegeta gathered a spirit bomb-like move and sent it to Goku before a massive portion came. Goku burst back into Ultra Instinct before forming a Zephyr didn't know how to explain it other than Susanoo. It was a massive avatar of Goku himself. Goku was in the forehead as the avatar pressed down on Moro. It leaned forward and Goku burst from the forehead, punching the crystal in Moro's forehead. The crystal and Moro exploded as everyone fell to the ground. Zephyr reverted to normal and got up. "Mother Fu," Krillin covered his mouth. Okay. Goku gave everyone a thumbs up as Vegeta badgered him for the last burst of energy's sender. In the end, they all went to eat at Bulma's house. A few days passed. Zephyr, Vegeta, Boo, and Goku were in a spaceship, heading to Galactic Patrol HQ. The Squid King wanted to give them medals for taking care of Moro. Plus, in the meantime, they revived everyone who was harmed by Moro with the Dragon Balls. Zephyr looked over at Vegeta. "We gotta do something." Vegeta looked at him as Zephyr whispered, pointing his thumb at Goku, "If this keeps up, we'll be left in the dust." Vegeta frowned and glanced at Goku. "What are we supposed to do?" Zephyr sighed and shrugged sadly. "I don't know. He paused and looked at Vegeta, making a gesture. Vegeta's lips twitched. A while later, the Squid Dude Galactic King gave them all medals. Thank you all, another alien shouted, and now to name the honorees: Son Goku, Vegeta IV, Zephyr, Majin Buu, Jocko, Terramentin Pibasi. Goku whispered, why is your name so long? Jocko whispered back, does it matter? As the alien continued, and finally, Maris, now known as Maris Ikanoichiabasi. Goku was dumbfounded and Maris appeared, right here. Zephyr, Vegeta, and Goku were dumbfounded. What? Goku was stunned. How? Zephyr shouted in shock. What kinda an MMFPH? Maris covered his mouth and laughed awkwardly. Haha, Vegeta was speechless. Didn't you cease to exist? Maris smiled and rubbed his nose, whispering, as an angel, yes. He told them that Shin offered to sacrifice his own life instead, touching the Grand Priest's heart, so the Grand Priest resurrected him as a mortal, no longer an angel. But Beerus and Shin were being punished. The three were dumbfounded as Zephyr prayed, falling to his knees. Please, please, Lord Grand Priest Sama, please show me Beerus being punished. Maris' lips twitched. Suddenly, a picture of Beerus being rode by Zeno like a horse appeared. Zephyr jumped up and burst out laughing, pointing at the picture as he fell over. Vegeta's lips twitched as he looked at the picture. Goku chuckled, and Maris was dumbfounded. In the end, they took a picture with all the galactic patrolmen. Jocko gave Zephyr another medal. Can you bring this to Broly? Zephyr flipped the medal and nodded. Sure. Before looking at Maris, Goku, and Vegeta, what are you guys doing now? They weren't too sure. Zephyr rubbed Jocko's smooth alien head while saying carelessly, I have to go to Broly's, wanna come? Before adding, by the way, Maris, what did you lose exactly? Maris was startled and blinked. Zephyr looked at him. You never actually used those powers, right? So you just lost the chance to be an angel. He looked at Goku and Vegeta as Buu nibbled on the medal. Seems like a good trade, I mean, you can't fight as an angel so. Goku's eyes lit up and he slapped Maris back. Haha, that's right, this is great, Maris. Maris. Vegeta looked at Zephyr. I'll come with you to Broly's planet. Goku jumped. Oh, me too. Maris waved. I have a job. Zephyr nodded and grabbed Vegeta, Goku, and Buu, disappearing. A few months later. Chapter 128. You're in a simulation, inside a simulation, inside a simulation, inside a sea. Zephyr was training with the Grand Supreme Kai, sweating profusely. The Grand Supreme Kai yawned and nodded. Good, that's enough for now. Zephyr wiped his forehead. Are you going to sleep? The Grand Supreme Kai nodded. Yes, but Zephyr, we're quickly approaching the limits of what I can actually teach you. Most of my abilities are abilities that Supreme Kai know. If you want to get stronger, you will need to either train by yourself or with the other gods. Zephyr fell silent as the Grand Supreme Kai chuckled. Don't be upset, I've taught you everything I can. You're a very fast learner. He patted Zephyr's shoulder and yawned. Go to Beerus planet, I'm sure they can teach you more than I can at any rate, before disappearing. Zephyr sighed and teleported onto Beerus planet, dodging out of the way from an explosion. He shouted, damn, I was almost vaporized. Vegeta looked up and growled, idiot, who just pops up out of nowhere like you? Zephyr flew down and complained, why are you destroying rocks? What an asshole. Vegeta trembled, shaking his fists. I will kill you. Zephyr transformed and they started fighting intensely. Beerus. He shouted, aren't you training? IDIOTS, as he drop-kicked them both into the lake. A bit later, Vegeta was training with Beerus as Zephyr sat on the side, watching them. He turned to the side seeing Wise training Goku. He held his cheeks before turning and scratching his face, sighing. He got up and walked over to Goku and Wise, overhearing them talking. He suddenly thought of something and rubbed his chin. Oh, Goku looked at him. Zephyr gestured. If Wise is saying that you should always be an Ultra Instinct, and it's not supposed to be a transformation, doesn't that mean you can go Super Saiyan while Ultra Instincted? Goku was dumbfounded and Wise's lips twitched. The basis for Super Saiyan is rage while Ultra Instinct is calm. Zephyr waved. A calm rage. Wise was dumbfounded. You sure do have a creative mind. Goku asked, is it possible? Wise groaned, possibly. Before looking at Zephyr, don't you have anything to do? Zephyr spread his hands, pouting, no, I finished training with the Grand Supreme Kai and came here to continue. Wise rolled his eyes and tapped his staff. I know a few who have the time to train you. Zephyr was excited. Then, Zephyr turned pale. Turns out, a few people means 3. 3 means 3 angels. Angels means women. Women means. Vados, Margarita, and Kusu looked flatly at Zephyr, who appeared at their spa resort. Zephyr coughed and touched his fingers. Aha, hello, Tilda. I'm here for training, ha ha ha, before swallowing. He will probably never forget the scene of 3 naked angels for his entire life. They all smiled at him, and Zephyr's scalp was numb as he started running. However, alas, he didn't get far. A very long couple of months passed. Zephyr wiped his forehead, swallowing fearfully, looking around before jumping up as a staff went through the wall behind him. Zephyr dissipated and appeared somewhere else as Kusu looked at him with a smile. Hello, Tilda, he was spooked. I heard that angels were scary, but this is ridiculous. Kusu covered her mouth and giggled. Well, you've gotten much stronger these past few months. Zephyr muttered. Yeah, I'm on the run from 3 angels. If I didn't, I'd die. Kusu rolled her eyes cutely. We'll Tilda if you just said who sent you here, Tilda. Zephyr snorted, no, as he twisted around, elbowing behind him as Vados blocked him with a finger. He lifted one knee, blocking another staff before pulling the staff to him, blocking Kusu's staff as he turned, leading her into Vados. Zephyr spat out his tongue and burned a hole into the ground, disappearing. The 3 clicked their tongues. He didn't say it was wise yet. Kusu smiled. I like him, he's funny. Vados rolled her eyes, like him like a doll. Kusu was speechless and Margarita groaned. Can't he just spill the beans? Then we can go beat up Wise. Vados hummed. He hasn't done it now and it's been 5 months. Margarita looked angry. I'm gonna beat him to death then, as she disappeared. Vados and Kusu heard an explosion in the distance before twitching their lips. Zephyr caught the staff and kicked out as Margarita let go, jumping back. Zephyr twirled the staff in his hands, spinning it around him before pointing the end at Margarita. Does this count as training or a fight? Margarita looked confused as Zephyr heard the Grand Priest. It is considered training. Zephyr smirked, good, as he transformed, throwing the staff back at Margarita. She caught it and Zephyr let out a breath, breathing out a ribbon as he went to his transformed form. The ribbon circled around him as Zephyr looked at Margarita flatly. He disappeared and appeared in front of her, while raising his arm and leg, blocking 2 other attacks as he punched out. Margarita blocked with a finger as Zephyr stepped on the air, shooting through her and punching out as they both turned to afterimages. Margarita was startled as she reverted to a position she was in nanoseconds ago. Zephyr punched her in the stomach as she blocked with her hand, backing off. Zephyr moved his hands, slamming them on the side before jumping in the air over Vados and Kusu. He twisted and disappeared, kicking out from behind Margarita as she blocked with her arm. Zephyr frowned to himself as he continued fighting. He stepped on the air and there was a slight boom as he flickered, punching through Margarita's head. She pouted and disappeared. No fair. Zephyr looked around as Kusu was surprised. Oh wow, forcing Margarita to use her angel powers. Zephyr frowned and caught Vados' staff before pointing a finger behind him. It's useless. I can see you. Vados was stunned as she dissipated along with Zephyr. He phased 4 times in a row, reaching out with a claw pose. Vados frowned. How are you making me affected by time? Zephyr curled his lips and said, secret, as he suddenly sped up, elbowing behind him. A black crack appeared as Vados cursed, disappearing. Kusu appeared and tapped her staff as everything changed to a white training room. Zephyr was stunned and Kusu smiled at him. Good job. He looked at her as she smiled. That was just a simulation. Oh, but Vados and Margarita controlled the avatars I made for them. It was fun, she giggled, but you were cheating a bit. This is training like I said, oops, Tilda. Zephyr pouted. The Grand Priest's voice was just Kusu. Kusu shrugged and smiled cutely. Transforming into an angel timeline for a split second is fine in training, but if you use that during a real fight, you'll get erased. So, stop using it for training. She shook her head, adding seriously, there's no point, you're trying to train, developing bad habits is well bad. Zephyr scratched his head. How long have I been here? Kusu smiled. It's been a minute since I sent you to me. Zephyr was dumbfounded and Kusu tapped her staff. Okay, this time don't use that timeline. The God of Destruction timeline is fine. Explore other options too. Oh, and Tilda, the way your abilities work, the stronger you are in the current moment, the stronger you will be in a future timeline. That goes for your base form and your new Nexus form. She waved happily. Okay, Tilda, what's the scenarios this time? Tilda, I got it. As she tapped her staff. Zephyr was in a romance drama with the fat angel, but he was found out to be in a secret relationship with Vados. Vados, why am I here again? Months passed in the real world. Chapter 129, Strongest Warrior in the Universe, Gas, also Granola. Zephyr was numb, his hands shaking. So many simulations. Why was he always a cheater, pervert, criminal, scumbag? He was about to cry. Just as he got out, he paused and frowned, closing his eyes. Kusu tilted her head at him. Hello, Tilda. Zephyr took out a bag and stuffed his face with trail mix. By the way, Kusu, is this Universe 10? Kusu smiled and nodded. Zephyr clicked his tongue. That elephant bastard is somewhere around here, huh? Tusk. Kusu giggled. Anyway, Tilda, you should be heading back now. Seems like something is going on in your universe. Thanks for acting out my simulations, Tilda, as she tapped the ground with her staff. Zephyr's lips twitched as he disappeared. Turns out he was an actor. He ended up in Universe 7 again and closed his eyes, disappearing. He appeared on a planet, catching an energy sword in front of a battered Goku. The blue person frowned. And who are you? Zephyr curled his lips. The strongest human in the universe. Which shithole did you crawl out of? The man frowned as Zephyr pressed forward with his fingers, crushing the energy sword to pieces. The man jumped back as Zephyr tossed the bag behind him. Eat up. Where's Vegeta? Goku laughed awkwardly. When I find a senzu bean. Zephyr's lips twitched as Goku ate handfuls of trail mix. Zephyr glanced at a guy on the ground with a red eye. He was surprised. Who? What? Goku, what's going on? Where did these guys come from? Goku explained everything as Zephyr was stunned. You can do that. Before turning to the blue guy, you're Gas, yeah? You just wished to be the strongest in the universe and boom, it happened. Gas snorted as a girl laughed. Jealous? Ha ha ha. Too bad you'll die. Zephyr tapped the air and the girl collapsed with a hole in her leg. Can you shut up? Who on earth was talking to you? A fatty shouted in shock. Mackie. Gas frowned. How dare you? Zephyr rolled his eyes. Use more inflection. You don't sound that upset about it, Tilda. Gas swung out a hammer and Zephyr disappeared. He was squatting on the energy hammer and yawned. Well, that's what happens when you just wish for strength, I guess. You're weaker than ever without adapting to your strength. Gas looked at him. Just fast. Nothing else special about you. Zephyr clapped. OHOH. Thank you, Mr. I wish to be the strongest in the universe. You must be a master who trained for his entire life to accumulate skills and can tell a fighter's weakness at a glance. He sneered, continuing, just fight already. Acting high and mighty as if you really trained to get your strength, ugh. Zephyr spat at him. The thing I hate most in this world is self-righteous people. As he disappeared, punching through Gas' chest before blocking with his arm as Gas disappeared, shattering the hammer on Zephyr's forearm. Goku jumped back as Zephyr turned and kicked. Gas jumped back and pointed over. Zephyr had weights on him as he snapped his fingers and they disappeared. Oh my god, what a waste of time. He pointed at Gas and the weights appeared. Zephyr looked indifferent. Wow, I can do magic too, blah blah blah. He did several hundred feats of magic before clapping as they all disappeared. Can we fight for real now? Great. As he flashed, kicking out. Gas made a shield and blocked the kick as Zephyr phased through a hand stab, shooting his other leg up, cracking Gas in the chin, sending him into the air before disappearing. He flashed to Gas and spun, slamming his heel down as Gas blocked, getting shot into the planet. It shook intensely as Zephyr frowned, dodging quickly as Gas appeared in front of him in the air, punching and kicking. Zephyr looked over at the cities, seeing little axolotl creatures while dodging. He frowned and caught a weight, crushing it to pieces before kicking out as Gas dodged into his foot, getting kicked in the mouth and shot into a mountain far away. Zephyr appeared next to Goku. We shouldn't fight on this planet anymore. There's little guys over there. Goku frowned. Yeah, but these guys are going to kill them if we don't. Zephyr clicked his tongue as Goku looked at him. By the way, did you learn Ultra Instinct? Where did you go? Zephyr replied with a head shake. It's not Ultra Instinct, it's different. I'm just looking into the future and moving out of the way before he attacks. As for where I was, Zephyr shuddered. Hell. Goku was speechless as gas appeared in the air again, looking down at them. Suddenly, Granola appeared. He and Gas started fighting intensely as Vegeta floated over. Huh. Goku threw him the bag and Vegeta started eating. When did you get here? Zephyr explained what happened and Vegeta snorted. Lucky you. Zephyr rolled his eyes. I guess. This guy is just a loser, honestly. Vegeta crossed his arms, throwing the bag back. That's what happens when you power yourself up with Dragon Balls. Zephyr's lips twitched. And not train, that's important. Vegeta rolled his eyes. Right. Zephyr made the bag disappear with twitching lips. Why do I feel like you're implying something? As he snapped his fingers, Vegeta and Goku's clothes appeared anew. Zephyr looked over at the Namekian. Yo, old man, come over here. Minato was stunned and hobbled over as Zephyr asked him, Are you injured? He waved. I'm fine. Zephyr looked at him before pointing at his arm as the wounds turned into bubbles and disappeared. Minato was stunned and Zephyr turned back, watching the fight. Goku looked at Zephyr. Huh, healing magic? Zephyr crossed his arms. No. He held a palm and a green energy appeared. This is healing magic. I erased the past of his wounds to heal him just now. Vegeta and Goku. Gas and Granola kept fighting as Goku scratched his head. Why does he use those useless moves? Vegeta muttered. Maybe that's what the dragon gave him. Minato shook his head. Gas has always used those moves. Zephyr sighed. What a waste of time. Goku and Vegeta nodded as Zephyr asked Minato, Has he always been so weak? Minato's lips twitched. He's not weak exactly. Zephyr rolled his eyes as Goku muttered, Making weapons, it's actually useless. Vegeta's lips twitched. Maybe it's a surprise factor. Zephyr looked at him. Surprise? Surprise what? Surprisingly make the enemy laugh himself to death. Vegeta's lips twitched. Warriors use weapons all the time. Zephyr snorted. Yes, 1, not a billion. How old is this guy? If it was wise, I would understand. He's had millions of years to train in every weapon imaginable, but this guy just uses strength to use them. It's like using a pistol instead of a Kamehameha. What's the point? Goku looked at Vegeta, who rolled his eyes. Why are you looking at me? I'm just as confused as you are. The three shook their heads at Gas' stupid fighting style. Sometimes shields, sometimes hammers, nunchucks, axes, kunai, it was a mess. They continued fighting for a while before Gas had his necklace thing taken off him and went berserk. Chapter 130, Pure Bullshit from Gas. He crushed Granola and even started beating on his two friends as the last one distanced himself. Gas turned to the three watching before charging over. They were stunned as Gas punched and kicked, sending them flying. He roared as Goku punched him and sent him flying. Elec stood in the air. Come on, Gas, you're stronger than this. Gas seemed to regain control of himself somehow, while Granola appeared behind him, but Gas shot 2 fingers for his eyes. Zephyr appeared in front of Granola, grabbing the fingers and gritting his teeth. Finally, a good fight without bullshit. Gas growled and punched, smashing Zephyr through the stomach. Zephyr coughed up blood. Damn. As Granola has Zephyr's blood splatter on his face in shock. Zephyr looked at Gas and grinned, turning into his Nexus form and kicking Gas in the chin, holding onto his arm with both hands while kicking Gas at light speed. Gas shook in the air as he was hit millions of times before flying out, getting his hand free. Zephyr looked at his nubs and they burst into flames, reforming instantly. His clothes turned to normal as he flashed, grabbing Alec's face, taking his gun. You sneaky little rat. The gun disappeared as Zephyr kicked Alec in the face, shooting him into the ground. Granola was stunned. You, Zephyr grinned and put a handful of trail mix in his hand. Kid, you remind me of myself. Eat and go get revenge on your own. Granola was speechless as he ate the trail mix, snorting as he returned to full health. He flashed to Gas and started fighting again. Granola was beaten badly by Gas' new strength and Goku grabbed Gas, teleporting away. Zephyr reverted to normal, coming to Granola. Kid, you got your ass handed to you again. Granola cursed. Damn it all. Zephyr patted his head. It's all right. Minato and Vegeta came over as Granula's little robot helper drove a car over. Come on! They got in and drove away as Goku appeared. Zephyr waved his fingers, dragging Goku over as they went to Minato's house. Goku got a message on a device. Wise, how did I get this? Wise said. I planted it on you when you interrupted my dessert trip. Goku laughed. Sorry, but you were just the right amount of space away from this planet, and I knew that he'd have to behave himself around you, haha. Wise replied seriously. Speaking of gas, he's hurtling towards you at breakneck speed. Goku was dumbfounded. What? Through space? Wise nodded. He should reach you in 20 minutes Earth time. Everyone was shocked as Wise asked, by the way, has your training bore fruit yet, Goku? Goku frowned. No, I'm still having a little trouble with it. I just can't keep my heart calm like you do. Wise nodded. That's understandable. I'm a different life form than you fundamentally. Goku looked at Wise. So how do I learn to use Ultra Instinct better? Wise sighed. How many times must I tell you? It's up to you to discover your own unique version of Ultra Instinct. Listen to the voice inside you. Deep down, what are you really? Goku was stunned and Zephyr leaned on the side of the car, thinking about something. A few minutes later, they were inside Minato's house as he showed them Bardock's scouter. Zephyr was dumbfounded. Huh? Bardock? Vegeta nodded. Kakarot's father. Zephyr had question marks all over him as Granula's robot buddy helped make the audio message audible. There was some buzzing noise before. That attack had to have some affect. Minato, use this chance to get as far away from gas as you can. Minato was shocked. That's Bardock's voice. Zephyr looked at him and turned back to the scouter that continued. I'll slow gas down. Listen to me, you two have to stay alive. Goku froze and looked shocked. Ah! Vegeta and Zephyr looked at him. Kakarot/Goku. Goku waved, and they continued listening to the scouter until it ended. Goku was silent for a few moments as Vegeta clicked his tongue. Count your father a good warrior for making me realize something. Goku smiled and nodded. Same here. Zephyr scratched his head. Are you guys getting a power-up from words now? Goku tapped his head, grinning. I just remembered my past, so, yep. As they all walked out, seeing Gas standing there. They all transformed as Zephyr looked over at Vegeta, purple guy. Vegeta sneered, Ultra Ego. Zephyr looked to the side as Goku smiled, hee tilde. Zephyr crossed his arms, okay, I'll support I guess. But when you fall back, we'll swap. Vegeta and Goku rushed out at Gas as Zephyr followed them, pointing out with his fingers, speeding up Goku and Vegeta while slowing down Gas with his time powers. They started fighting as Goku punched over Vegeta's kick, battering Gas. Gas punched before his body reverted back to where it was a second ago, taking a punch from Vegeta, grinning, dumbfuck. Gas went flying out as Zephyr appeared, stomping on his back, shooting him back towards Goku and Vegeta as they tag-teamed him. Gas lifted his arm and blipped through time as Goku and Vegeta kicked in a certain spot, Gas appearing there instantly, getting slammed. Zephyr chuckled as Gas appeared behind him, slamming down as Zephyr phased through him, slapping a palm on Gas' back, making him stagger as he flew backwards, flickering back to Vegeta's fist as Goku slammed his foot down, plastering Gas into the earth. Gas got up tremblingly, looking out at the three, shaking with anger. He couldn't fight back at all. Gas pointed down as Zephyr jumped in shock, pressing out his hands, stopping Gas from destroying the planet as Gas appeared in front of him, punching through Zephyr's chest, making him spray out a mouthful of blood. Be bastard. Gas shook Zephyr and made him explode. He turned, attacking Goku and Vegeta quickly. Zephyr's blood burned and jumped into a raging white fire before forming Zephyr again. He flicked his fingers and was dressed again with everything back on. He looked over and frowned as Gas battered Vegeta while Goku was meditating. He was out for 10 seconds. That was a long time for them. A fight goes so fast that they clash over 100,000 times within a second anyway. 10 seconds is like 40 minutes. Zephyr shot over and kicked Gas flying as he shouted in shock, "You're alive!" Zephyr crouched over Vegeta, feeding him a handful of trail mix as Gas punched out angrily, "Bastard, just die." Zephyr held out his hands, spreading them as a barrier appeared. "Shut up, loser. You're just trash that wished for power. If we fought before your wish, you would have been annihilated in an instant." Gas sneered, "Unfortunately for you then." Zephyr chuckled and tossed Vegeta to Goku on the side. "Yeah, but not really." Zephyr started burning and charged at Gas, jumping off the ground as he sped up crazily, shooting through Gas, who froze. Zephyr kicked out as a small Gas turned around in shock. Zephyr smashed his head to paste as he flickered back to Planet Cereal. He turned and was stunned as Gas was clenching his fists, before exploding with Kai. Zephyr was confused as Gas turned around, frothing at the mouth and started rampaging, charging at Zephyr, who jumped back quickly. Gas grabbed Zephyr's leg and smashed it into the ground. Zephyr cut his leg off as it regrew instantly. He floated in the air and was confused. What the fuck is going on? Goku appeared in front of him suddenly. Why said that because he wished for these powers, he has access to God Kai and the same powers as you. So he went back and blocked it. Zephyr was dumbfounded. That's fucking bullshit. Goku shrugged and waved. Let me handle it. Zephyr caught the communicator and flew out to Vegeta, who sat down with his arms crossed. Chapter 131. Frieza appears again. Zephyr looked at Wise. What happened? Wise blinked. Seems like he was unaffected. Zephyr had a question mark over his head as Wise explained. He's the strongest in the universe besides gods, but he still has God Kai. He can use destruction, right? He probably just destroyed your attack as well as that entire timeline. Zephyr. He watched as Goku went into a more perfect Ultra Instinct belonging to him where only his eyes changed color to silver. He started beating Gas silly as Zephyr asked. So what else? Just fight the normal way? Wise nodded. Yes, well, there's a Sunday calling my name Tilda. Zephyr made the communicator disappear as he cursed. What the fuck, man? Vegeta frowned and watched as Goku fought Gas in this new form before Gas turned into a wrinkled old man and started beating Goku back somehow. Zephyr frowned. This dude, is he burning his life? Vegeta sneered. So much for ultimate power. Zephyr waved. Come on, let's go before Granola burst out, hitting Goku to the side. Zephyr and Vegeta were stunned as Granola talked to Goku for a few seconds before Goku got up to face Gas. The duo jumped over and started fighting old Gas, who formed avatar arms of energy to fight. The three cooperated easily and fought Gas intensely as Granola charged up a big attack. It's now. Zephyr appeared under Gas and blasted him into the sky with a Z-burner. Vegeta flashed and kicked Gas in the chin as Goku grabbed his dreadlocks, throwing him out of the atmosphere. Granola fired a massive laser and engulfed Gas entirely as the planet trembled. But even this didn't take out Gas. Granola spared his life, but no good deed goes unpunished as Minato was blasted through the chest with a Kai beam. Granola ran over to him. Monaito. Zephyr tossed the bag behind him. That's why you kill your enemies. Gas reappeared, blasting a massive eruption of Kai at the three before shooting through it, punching and kicking the three. They blocked and backed off before attacking him. Zephyr snapped his leg but was still kicked, sent flying out, rolling on the ground. Is he a zombie? Goku kicked a chunk off Gas' arm, but he still kept moving. Vegeta growled, it's like a curse, cursed to be the strongest. Alec on the side snorted at Mackie and Oil. Shut up. Gas' lifespan is about to run out. Making him the strongest in the universe meant sacrificing all of his life. Gas was dumbfounded. I'm dying. Zephyr stood up. This guy is joking, right? Look at him. Vegeta waved. The bag. Zephyr's lips twitched. I gave it to Granola. Vegeta cursed, idiot. As he was sent flying by a punch, spiraling into a mountain. Goku blocked and Zephyr flashed over, catching Vegeta as they shot back. Gas ran over to a lake and looked at himself in shock. My face. Zephyr landed next to Goku, sighing, I kinda feel bad for him, you know? Vegeta rolled his eyes, idiot. Zephyr healed Vegeta and Goku as Alec shouted, Get rid of them now, you worthless scum. Waste any more time and before we know it, he's gonna. Suddenly, a figure landed down on the planet. Frieza. Everyone was dumbfounded. Zephyr was shocked. What the hell? Vegeta's eyes were wide. Is Frieza, Goku finished, doing here? Gas trembled and roared, buffing up. I'm going to kill You. As he charged at Frieza, but Frieza put one hand through Gas and killed him in an instant. The trio. Frieza turned to Alec. Alec, you're the one who contacted me for business. I assume your plan was to have Gas kill me, right? It's a shame your smooth-brained operations always seem to fail. In the time that I've been dead, all you managed to obtain were worthless trinkets and meaningless sums of money. He appeared in front of Alec. I've known of your ambitions for 40 years. The reason I never even wasted an instant annihilating you bugs is that I simply could not even be asked to spare you half a glance. Leaving you alive was simply child's play to have you exploited for fun. My army doesn't even have to capitalize on your sniveling, pathetic excuse for an existence. Alec was dumbfounded. You knew, Frieza snorted with his hands behind his back. As expected, your minuscule IQ even lower than a monkey seemingly only comprehended a single sentence. I can't say I expected anything else from you except absolute mental deficiencies. However, to answer your question, there is not a single thing in this universe that I am not privy to. He leaned over and whispered, including the weakest member of the Heater family is actually you, Alec punched. That's enough. Frieza held his palm in front of Alec's face before blasting him out of existence. Frieza turned and said, oh, would you look at that? The gang's all here. Is it a monkey gathering today? I should have checked the forecast before leaving this morning. Goku shouted, how did you manage to kill gas? Frieza tilted his head. How? Am I missing something your simian race came up with? Vegeta snorted. He wished to be the strongest in the universe. By all rights, he should have been stronger than you. Frieza realized, I see. In this universe, you mean. Let me enlighten you inferior species. I've been spending my time in another dimension, you see, so perhaps I wasn't counted as being a part of this universe. Zephyr was stunned. Another dimension? You went to another universe, so did I. Frieza rolled his eyes. Not another universe, lesser ape. As I conquered planets, there happened to be one with a door to another universe where time flows differently. I've been training in there for, he grinned, 10 years. The trio were dumbfounded. Frieza held his hips. I very well couldn't continue losing to you Saiyans over and over again. Therefore the master had to do some training on his own. I've powered up beyond your feeble minds can even comprehend. He flexed and turned black. Zephyr was shocked. He has even less rights now, crossed out. He gave up rights for power, crossed out. Frieza grinned, meet Frieza Black. Well, crossed out. He sneered, achieving this form took plenty of toil, you know. Zephyr was shocked and gasped. Toil, he must have been badgered by the police for a long time. Crossed out. Frieza disappeared and reappeared behind them as the three collapsed to the ground, groaning. Zephyr held his stomach and vomited on the ground as Frieza looked back, reverting to normal, silly monkeys. I have other business, thus cannot entertain your circus act. Farewell. He looked at the other two Heaters. I happen to lack a cook and waiter. They saluted and flew up with him as Frieza's ship disappeared from the sky. Whis appeared on the planet as Granola ran over to Goku, Vegeta, and Zephyr with Minato, who healed them one by one. Whis looked around. I see it's finally over. Goku rubbed his head and laughed. Haha, it was a bit too close for comfort this time. Minato and Granola looked over. Who? Vegeta said, he's an angel. Whis, Minato, and Granola were confused. Angel? Whis looked at the three. We need to return now. Beerus doesn't know how to make yakisoba. The three were stunned and said goodbye to Granola. Zephyr looked at him. When you're ready to die, come to Earth. Granola was stunned as Zephyr explained. That way you can be reincarnated and become my student. Granola pointed at himself. Me, your student. Zephyr patted his shoulder. That's what I said. Before teleporting away with Whis, Vegeta, and Goku. Granola was dumbfounded and sighed as Minato patted his back. Suddenly, Granola's eyes started hurting as they both blazed into bright red orbs. Granola was stunned. Minato looked up and smiled. Meanwhile, Chapter 132, The Disappointments and the End. The group of 5 plus Oracle fish were eating yakisoba on Beerus planet. A few months later, Zephyr was sparring with Broly as Goku and Vegeta sparred on the side. Whis looked at a timer. All right, switch. Zephyr turned and punched at Vegeta, turning on his Nexus form as he charged at Vegeta, who turned into Ultra Ego, fighting intensely. They had been sparring like this for months now, right after the yakisoba actually. The days passed. Finally, they were all eating when Whis looked over. Speaking of trouble, It seems like something happened on Earth again. A new android named Cell Max came to stir up trouble, but your son took care of it. Goku was stunned. Gohan? Zephyr ate a whole giant wolf leopard and spat out the bones. Damn, that's crazy. Anyway, let's start. Who the fuck cares about that group of disappointments? He jumped up and slapped the food out of Vegeta's hand, then kicked him in the face before shooting after him as massive explosions went out all around the planet. Goku was speechless as Beerus yawned. Disappointments? Goku explained. Well, most of our kids don't like to train or fight. Only very few. Zephyr has been upset for a long time. I don't think he likes my wife or my son for that matter. Well, to be fair, it's basically all her fault. Beerus looked at him with twitching lips as Goku continued. She wants everyone to go to school and get jobs and live like normal people without getting exposed for some reason. I don't know why. Also, she insists that I get a job and make money. But we all have a card with infinite money on them, so we don't actually need money at all. None of us do. I think she's a bit crazy, but she's nice deep down. Beerus was dumbfounded. Are you still talking? Goku felt something and was stunned, disappearing. He came back a few minutes later with a car full of people. Zephyr and Vegeta slammed into the ground before Zephyr kicked Vegeta out, clapping his hands and grinning crazily. Z-burner! As white lightning crackled on his hands, tearing apart space around it, blasting a massive beam bigger than the moon. Gohan, Trunks, Goten, Bullets, and two criminal dudes were terrified. Did that just tear space? Vegeta snorted and grinned evilly, slamming his arms out. Final destruction? A purple beam collided with the white as the tree in the middle of the planet disintegrated. A massive energy erupted and Wise tapped his staff, protecting the normal people. Beerus jumped up and shouted angrily, "Stop destroying MY planet." Zephyr and Vegeta snorted at him. "Shut up, kitty." Beerus trembled in anger as they turned, charging at him with punches and kicks. One of the criminal guys slumped. Who are these guys? Trunks looked over. The guy with the purple hair is my dad, and the one with the white hair is my father-in-law. The purple cat is the god of destruction. He destroys planets across the universe. The man was frozen with terror. TTTTTT there from Earth? Trunks nodded, and the man held his head. Then what were we doing with Cell Max? They wouldn't annihilated him in a second. Gohan's lips twitched. They had a big fight with Cell Max, even lost a comrade they just made. Goku paused and looked at him. What happened? The guy explained the entire fight, and Goku looked at Gohan, sighing, I thought you were going to be a good fight. He shook his head and added boredly, whatever. Gohan's lips twitched. Bullets shouted, Daddy? Zephyr waved. Don't interrupt me, disappointment. As he punched Beerus in the face, grabbing his tail and nailing Beerus in the neck with an elbow. Bullets sighed, it's no use. Daddy only talks to Mom and Rifle. Trunks added, and Pan Bullets sighed again. Beerus kicked and Zephyr slammed into the ground, getting back up and shooting over, stretching out his hand as Vegeta stomped on Beerus' back. Zephyr grinned, distorted future. Zephyr's hair turned purple and he said, Destruction. Beerus ducked and waved his hand quickly as Zephyr's arms from the elbow down flew up into the air. Zephyr pouted as he reverted to normal, landing on the ground. Damn it! Beerus looked back. My decorative planets, pulling on his ears in distress. Vegeta caught Zephyr's arms and turned them to dust. You're still fighting me? As he charged at Beerus with a grin. The two normies shouted, his arms. Zephyr's nubs blazed before new arms burst from the flames. He got up and rubbed his wrists as the bracelets flew back over, slipping onto his wrists. Damn it! Weiss shook his head. The original idea would have worked better. Beerus can handle destruction better than you. Zephyr frowned, but I can't use that ability on Beerus. Weiss smiled and nodded. That's why I said it's better, because you won't get your arms severed. Zephyr rolled his eyes and turned, pausing. When did you disappointments show up? Ah no, children. Who are the two normal humans? They all twitched as Bullets explained what happened. Zephyr nodded and stopped her. Honestly, I don't care about Cell Max Power AAA battery or whatever he's called. As he looked at the two before pressing on one's forehead, turning him to dust. He turned his head to Wise, see? Wise shook his head. It won't work, I'm telling you. Zephyr didn't believe it and pressed on the ashes, reverting them back into a person as he said, if I get strong enough it should affect gods. Wise rolled his eyes, pointing out, if it does, how long will it take? Gods can live for millions and millions of years, are they gonna let you age them to death? Even if they do, how long will it take? Zephyr was dumbfounded and frowned. Damn, I didn't think of that. The guy touched himself. I'm alive, then looked at Zephyr. Are you God? Zephyr's lips twitched. Where the hell did you find this guy? Goku replied sullenly. On the road, he was with these guys. Before looking at Wise, was Cell Max strong? Wise looked at him and smiled. He was as strong as Frieza. Goku was excited as Wise continued. The first time you fought him. Goku froze and looked at the edge of the planet. Zephyr held him. Okay. In the end, Zephyr went home and saw Launch giving her a hug. He picked her up and smiled happily. By the way, I have something for you. Blonde Launch held his neck. Zephyr took out a Lex pistol that could even blast through Granala's skin. This thing can put a hole in just about anything. Launch's eyes lit up. Oh my god, I thought you forgot about your little all-wife. Zephyr laughed. Are you kidding? We're gonna be together forever. Launch giggled and kissed him happily, picking up the pistol and blasting a mountain to dust. She jumped up and laughed as a little girl clapped. Wow, so cool, mommy. Zephyr picked up the little girl. Ah, Tilda, who's daddy's little cutie, Tilda moi. The little girl giggled happily. Then time flew by. 1,000,000 years later. Zephyr laid on some lush grass, looking at a pond next to his head, propping himself up by his elbow. In the pond was a planet he was looking at. A little guy with a straw hat was fighting 2 other tall guys. Zephyr cheered. Come on, kid, beat their asses. He muttered. Next time there's a fight, I should go in person. As he was watching, Launch ran out. Honey, Tilda, Goku, and Vegeta are here. Zephyr jumped up. They are. As he walked over, humming to himself. He walked through the house, looking at the 2 guests and grinned. Well, Tilda, if it ain't the god of destruction and angel themselves, Tilda. What can this Supreme Kai do for you? Vegeta crossed his arms and snorted. Can it, Zephyr? You made a planet full of ninjas, right? Well, one of them is going nuts. Zephyr was dumbfounded. I make the planets and you destroy them. What's the issue? Goku laughed and scratched his head. All right, you guys. It's not really that big of a deal, Vegeta cursed. The Grand Priest is breathing down my neck because our Supreme Kai keeps interfering with planets. Zephyr pouted. What do you want from me? Vegeta's eyes twitched angrily. Stop sending things to these planets for entertainment. You damn bastard. No, that's it, you're getting a beating. Zephyr's eyes lit up. Ha, that's what you really came for, right? Come on. He burst into white flames as Vegeta turned on Ultra Ego. They charged at each other, punching and kicking as Launch smiled helplessly. Here they go again, Tilda Goku-kun. Do you want something to eat? Goku scratched his cheek and chuckled. That's all right, Launch, how are you doing? Launch clapped her hands. Very good, you. Goku sighed. Kai's been complaining that I'm not home enough. Launch covered her mouth and giggled. Yeah, sounds like her. Hee. Goku pulled at the halo around his neck before taking it off and looking around. He smiled cheekily and went true Ultra Instinct, joining in on the fight. Vegeta and Zephyr flew out before looking at him and gasping, what a bastard, before getting up and fighting in a 3-way brawl. Launch smiled sweetly and took out a cell phone-like device. Bulma-san, Kai-san, wanna come over for some coffee? They both answered and sighed. Are they fighting again? Launch giggled. Tilda, they look so happy. Bulma sighed. You'd think a god of destruction would be more busy. Kai pouted. You think it's bad. Goku hasn't been home for 50 years. Bulma muttered. I wouldn't be there either. Kai exploded. What did you say? Launch giggled happily, looking at everyone before waving. I'll cook for everyone, have fun you 3. They all nodded and continued fighting as Launch went to cook. You too, come over soon, okay? They sighed. Be there in 5. Launch smiled and hummed to herself. Well, we haven't all been together for 5,000 years, this'll be great. I should call everyone. A man walked in. Miss, should I notify everyone? Launch looked over at the young man wearing apprentice Kai Patara and smiled. Would you be a sweetheart, Granala? Granala smiled happily. Sure thing, as he walked away. Zephyr charged out and punched while laughing as Vegeta and Goku also punched. They all smashed their fists into each other and fell over. They paused before laughing. 48,208,133 fights. 48,208,133 draws. At the end,